and welcome to episode 53 of Date Night Thrice, a podcast where three crazy friends are going to talk about three fun topics in a top three countdown. I'm Ben.
I'm Em.
And with us once again is Ken.
Hey,
Hey Ken, how you doing?
Oh, great.
No, Ken is
that was my Ken impression.
Sick.
That was pretty bad.
I was going to say, was that your Ken
I don't know
impression?
that was so terrible.
Hey, guys.
That's why I just kind of ran over top of it. I don't know what that was. Ken is not feeling good tonight, but the show must go on. We'll catch Ken on the next D list. And at the last minute, we are joined by Ryan James from the Gamecasters himself. Ryan, could you introduce yourself, please?
What is up, fellow Date Night Thricers? So I was sitting on the couch with Natalie, like 3 feet apart, sending memes to each other, laughing into our phones.
As
When I
one
look
does.
out the window and I see the DNT logo up in the sky,
I was going to say,
lit
was
up in the
me
night.
be at the window.
yeah, knocking on the window. Hey,
Hey,
we
guys.
need you. No, I quickly shoot up. I put my pants on and I descend into the basement, called upon by Lord and Lady Thrice. No, I'm really happy to be here. If you don't know me, I am Ryan. I'm one of the three hosts on the Gamecasters podcast. And my voice sounds kind of ravaged by the weekend that we just had.
It always sounds
Even though
like
there was
this.
plenty of social lubrication, but my spirit is strong and willing.
Oh, my gosh.
I can't wait to hang out with you guys for a couple hours. Thanks for having me. I feel like Faramir trying to step out of his dead brother's illustrious shadow in the place of Ken. I do not belong.
No, thank you. It was honestly like 30 minutes ago. I was like, so what are you doing tonight?
Yeah.
So the fact
Yeah.
that you're actually like here and made this work, thank you.
Emily, when you texted me that, I was literally in the middle of typing nothing, absolutely nothing. And I was like, no, give it like 45 seconds. Don't appear too.
Nothing,
You're not-
like before
yeah, you're not too
hit
eager.
send, you somehow
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, exactly.
I would highly recommend. Yeah, if you guys want to listen to it, if you've come to our podcast looking for board games and never find any, if you want to listen to an
Yeah.
actual board gaming podcast where people talk intelligently about games and have a lot of fun talking about a lot of other stuff, go check out the Gamecasters podcast. It is probably the only podcast I listen to religiously anymore. As soon as it
Really?
comes
That's
out,
true.
I think I normally finish
Wow,
it
that's
before
great.
Sunday is over every time. it
Damn,
releases.
that's great, man. That's really
So-
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I would highly recommend.
So, Ben, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, I actually on New Year's when Ryan and Natalie came to visit, Natalie brought, I assume,
She stole it.
She
Romando
Start the
El
car, start the
Rojo
car.
Red Ale from Griffin Claw Brewing Company.
stole. Ooh.
I don't ever drink reds. I don't think I've ever been at the store and bought a red ale.
Is
So
it good though?
Natalie bought that. It's not a cider?
no, it is
No.
not a cider. It is
I think
a
she
red.
was like, Ben likes beer. Like,
It's a beer.
grabbed.
Yeah, she's pretty cider exclusive for the most part.
very beer tasting. It's very beery.
It tastes like a beer. Who knows?
It is a
We'll
beer.
see.
Yeah.
If it tastes like a beer, it smells like a beer, looks like a beer.
must
Why-
be a beer.
What are you drinking, Em?
I have a white wine that you gave me for Christmas. These are all like holiday, which I believe the brand is it Cake Bread? Is that what it is? Cake
Cake
Bread
Bread?
Cellars?
Caked up?
Yeah.
What's up?
It is good though. It's very light. Light.
That sounds good.
And Ryan, I know you like just straight on just vodka.
I have.
It's just a glass
Yeah,
of
it's
vodka.
it's a nice aged cherry
An
Coca-Cola
aged
Zero.
Coke Zero.
Yeah, it's got a
have
very
never seen
oaky
a cherry
afterbirth.
Coke Zero.
Oh, they're quite good.
It's
I don't
delicious.
think we have them at
Yeah,
our
they're
store.
good.
Do we have
Yeah,
them at
it's
Wow.
tough. It's
I've
tough to
never
get them now
seen-
because they
Look
you
at
can
that.
only get the cherries grown from the driest form in
Right.
Napa Valley. I have no idea.
Yep.
No, they're really, really good.
Damn it, I'm jealous.
Well, normally we give Ryan a hard time about not drinking alcohol, but to be honest, secretly, I
We
respect
probably
that so
shouldn't be,
much
yeah.
because alcohol is killing me. So I really,
Yeah,
I like your healthy lifestyle.
healthy. Yeah, I'm definitely the model of health compared to you.
Well, I poured like half a bottle in this glass because I was like, I don't want to go back up. So, I mean, you know, you're doing a
No,
little
that's
bit
great.
better. So.
Yeah, well, on the there is 0 calories per can. What other destroying bodily chemicals there are inside of this can? What we won't know for 20 or 30
true.
years, but
Who
it is
knows?
delicious.
Right, will be like
It is
everyone who had
delicious.
Coke Zero
Here's the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you
you
know.
get it. Yeah, it's going to be a lawsuit come out that you might be able to earn
If
some
you
money.
drank Coke Zero,
Yeah,
one of
back
those,
in 2023.
we're like, oh shit, when it gets to our door. Yeah,
2023, by the way. Isn't that weird to say?
that is
that's
weird.
messed up.
I
don't like
was
it.
just getting used to
It's-
2022.
It's been so long now since everything seemed like we're like, I don't
Normal?
know. I don't even notice anymore. We're in the future. We're
We
in
are.
like, shoot, what's that movie with Harrison Ford where he's in the future?
Harrison
Future
Ford?
man.
Come on.
Oh, Star Wars.
damn it. No.
That's what he was like. Yes,
That's actually a long, long time ago, isn't it?
I have no idea what movie you're talking about.
That's
though.
fine. I'll
And
look
then,
it up.
what's his face did the remake
This
of
is
it.
so bad. Ben.
Villain.
Oh, you mean
Villain
Ryan
movie.
Gosling?
Blade Runner.
Yes.
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
Right,
Isn't
right.
that in like set in like 2023 or something
2040, 2049.
Well, at the rate things
like
are
that? The
going,
new one
I
is.
mean,
The Harrison
new
Ford one.
Oh, you're
well,
wondering what
maybe.
the original Blade Runner is?
What was the
When
year?
was Blade Runner set?
I like when one person is designated.
2019.
Whoa, okay.
Oh.
See?
We
we're in
are
the future.
beyond. That was actually before COVID.
Oh man, yeah,
The
they
Blade
didn't
Runner
know.
age.
They didn't know what was going to happen.
Right.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So since the last podcast, that was before Christmas, right? Right around then. I can't believe, like, it's January. I keep getting very confused because there's no snow in Michigan, and to me, I'm like, I don't know what month that is or what's going on. So it's very strange. But we had New Year's together and we had Nerd Fest. So I feel like we've just been partying it up lately. So
You're right.
yeah, it's been kind of wild, kind of crazy.
I mean, we got to
We've
talk
been
about
getting wild.
that. We got to talk about the elephant in the room. Like Nerd Fest? Like, what's up? Like Nerd
Nerd
Fest?
Fest was a blast.
Dude.
So Ryan,
Yeah.
okay, do you want to like explain what it is if someone doesn't know what it was
okay,
and
sure.
whatnot?
So, I think you might have heard Ben and M talk about it a little on the last episode, briefly. But what it is, so it's called Nerd Fest, and man, that's like what a trite title that is. but I came up with this thing like back in 2010, which is really when we first started. It was actually before we started getting into board games. And it was just an excuse for all of my friends to get together on a weekend and play video games with each other.
Oh,
And we had like every system imaginable out at the time. And everyone just came over and we just played video games all weekend. And and Bill, who you guys have now met, a friend of mine, had just started getting into this game called Arkham Horror.
Okay.
And so he brought that over and another game called Defenders of the Realm, if you've heard of that. And
Yep.
so board games was very light at this party, but it was just a party with all our friends. And I just started running this once a year out of my basement, starting in 2010. And then once we started the podcast in like 2019 is when it kind of got going. Once we did that, I talked about it on the show all the time. And we get listeners and they'd be like, I want to come to Nerd Fest. It sounds fun. So last year we opened it up to some listeners to come in. But it's still in the basement of like my friend Dave's house, Jeff's brother. And so it got kind of packed. And so it was always a dream of mine to make it like a big convention type thing.
like a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was kind of like thought it was never going to happen. It just seemed like we're just nothing. Who the hell's going to come to this? But so I was like, you know what? This year I'm going to do it. So I rented a hall and started promoting the ever-loving crap out of it. And then eventually it was just like, it was like that Field of Dreams. Like, if you build it, they will come. I had no clue
If you
why
rent
or
it.
how people were. Yeah, if you rent it, nerds will
They
be
will-
there.
yes,
yeah,
nerds
the
will join.
neckbeards will show up. And for the longest time, I was like, we thought maybe we'll get 25, 30 people at this.
Oh my
hall.
gosh, you were so worried. You were
I
like,
was
what if nobody
terrified.
shows up?
Well, because I was like, okay, so we get a lot of people that listen to the podcast, but that's a relative term, and
And
so
it's also like, are they willing to travel or are they close
Yeah.
by or
right.
Well,
And-
even like our local game group here, I was like, should I tell them about it? And I was like, well, that's kind of a big ask to be like, do you guys want to go like stay at a
Yeah.
hotel this weekend and go to a convention with people or a gaming weekend with people you may or may
Yeah.
not know?
and it may,
so I
or,
just
it may or
didn't-
may not be terrible.
And I was like,
right if it was like just us.
I
and we're
don't know.
like, hey,
So I
guys.
didn't bring it up, right? I was like, hey, I'm going to be out of town this weekend. We're going to play some games or whatever. And that's all I said. And I'll be honest with you, like I regret not being like,
Well,
you
they
guys
were
need
like
to come.
mad.
Yeah,
No.
it would have. Were
They
they?
wanted to know.
Well, Stephanie, who we play D&D with, she was like, well,
Yeah, she's like, why didn't
where's
you tell
my
us?
invite?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell, dude?
We're like, I'm sorry, we didn't know. We weren't sure.
Next time.
So like we started promoting it back in June, I think it was, of last year. That's when I got the hall. We like
was
really
it?
started kind of promoting. Yeah, like kind of slowly introducing it more and more over the months. And registration was really slow. We had like 30 or 40 people in the first couple months, but then by the time it got to November and December, we had about 90. And I was like, okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad. But then the week before, so this was the 13th, 14th, and 15th of this month, which is crazy that we're already 4 days out from it now,
I know.
which is weird.
Yeah.
We got like 60 more people.
Wow.
I know. Soon it was getting to the point where I'm like, well, do we even have room? Like, do you guys
like
have
I might have to
room for
turn
this?
people away.
Right? If you were like, sorry, you
I might have to
go.
shove them down the stairs outside.
Kick them back down.
Call their moms and come pick them up, you dweebs.
I'll be honest, like there definitely was a point at which I was like, hey, is there another table open? Because the one we were at was
Yeah.
like in the sun, and I was like, there
No.
isn't.
There
There
weren't
any.
isn't an open table.
I know.
Man, how
that was
cool
the
is
point
that?
where we're like, we could
Yeah.
like move a baby off a table. Like we were like getting desperate. And we're like, well, we could maybe like move this weird random thing out. Like,
Yeah.
but no, it was fantastic. It was fun. So we drove down Friday morning. So we were there like Friday afternoon, all of Saturday, and then we stopped by Sunday morning before we had to come back. But it was awesome. It was like a giant board game party. Like, it was so much fun. I'm already like, so next year we're gonna let
Yeah.
I'm contributing when you're probably like, shut up.
No. It was so great. Actually, it's funny. It's gonna sound like I'm just slobbing some knob here because this is your show, but Ben
Lay it on.
has had like there's been like three really succinct things that you've said about it that really have kind of like been what I'm telling people now from now
Oh,
on.
yeah?
Like
Oh,
the first
man.
one.
Say
the
them
first
because
one
I don't
was-
remember.
I'll tell. Yeah. Okay. Well, I do want to talk about this actually a little bit later, so maybe I'll hold on to these.
Okay.
But
Yeah, feel free if you're like,
I was
shut up.
very
this
happy.
is-
No, it's totally fine. I was really, really excited with how it turned out, and now that we know, next year we can open it up to even more people. But real quick, like I said, there was like 60 people that registered like the week before it started. But then once it started, we got like 30 or 40 people just walk in off the street.
Yeah, there were like
That didn't even
random
register.
people.
Yeah,
was
so
crazy.
it was nuts. It was really, really insane.
Well, when we we did Friday and Saturday, and there was a whole day on Sunday, like a whole nother day that we missed. And did you guys when we left, you had run out of your 200 lanyards? Was
Yeah.
there more people that came after that had to get like
stickers?
sticker name tags or something?
So yes, they all had to have stickers.
That's crazy though.
Yeah, all Sunday was stickers, and then minus the people that had badges. We did find some more. We had some more lanyards that were like stuck down in the bottom of the bag.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
So I haven't counted exactly
So
how
you guys
many
were lying.
gone.
You were lying about the number.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
We inflated the numbers just to get more. more
Wow,
people to say.
lanyards are gone. Like when
Yeah, the
you're
lanyards are
shoving
gone.
them to the bottom. Of the-
Weird. 10,000. I don't know.
No, Natalie's like, oh god, there's more here. So, but we did run out of the plastic badges.
yeah, the badge.
So
Okay.
people did have to be stickered with "Hello, my name is," like
man,
AA
awesome.
meeting sticker badges.
Right.
Hello, my name
Which
is
is pretty
Melvin.
cool. Yeah,
Melvin.
Melvy.
First
What
of
was
all,
his
we
name?
need to talk.
That was his
I
name.
think it was Melvin. So
Melvin or
okay, so
David?
you rented out like the top floor, and the
Yep.
bottom floor was where a game group normally
A local game
meets, a
group.
local one. And
the
so,
county for the county.
And
yeah.
so when we heard that, we were like, well, maybe they'll come up too, like this or that.
First of
Okay.
all, has this game group been meeting since the 70s or something?
Maybe older, maybe longer.
60s?
Well, and here's the thing: this is like their third or fourth location that I know about because
Is it
they've
'cause
had
they're moody.
they've had. I never knew if it was them or not, but I had heard
Now you know.
that they had falling outs with past establishments.
You know now. So they like, first of all, by they I mean a bunch of insanely old people came up to check out the gaming thing, which were like, yeah, sure, check it
It's
out.
not that
Right?
they were
Come on
super
in.
old.
No,
it's that
it's
they
not-
were like,
They were weird.
Odd.
They're weird.
I
And
heard
so
that. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say. So like one guy came up. Let's call him Melvy. We don't know Melvin, Melvy, David.
Like a hybrid of those three.
So the first day, it's like he just kind of walked around, and we were kind of like, "Who is this guy?" He's like just walking around checking it out. That's totally fine, great.
Yep.
Like, and then he sat down, played a few games, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll join in." Day 2, he had like his suitcase, his rolly suitcase of games. He was there bright and early.
Yeah,
he was prepared.
He was having a blast, man.
He was hanging out all day. Like I feel like he was having the time of his life.
Screw that Oakland County game group.
Oakland County gamers. There was like 4 or 5 guys that I heard about that were normally downstairs that hung out with us upstairs the whole weekend.
Oh,
I can't
man.
blame
Which was
them.
really cool.
Like the atmosphere, and like you said, maybe we'll get into this a little bit later. But the atmosphere, man, I just was having so much fun.
It was. I want to say the one. I'm going to let one of them go. One of them go now. So,
Release.
I was talking to Ben, and we were talking about the weekend or whatever, and he was like, and this is specifically about Saturday, because Saturday was.
Saturday
and
was
always
a party.
it's always the big day. Yeah, so that's what he said. He was like, it wasn't so much a game day as it just felt like a giant party.
Yeah.
And that was a really, really good comment.
And it could have been because I was spraying
comment.
champagne on everyone. It could have been no.
You were moonwalking into people.
I was moonwalking into people.
You- that's
it could have
true.
been.
I'm pretty sure that happened.
I did do well. I didn't spray
I have it on
champagne
video.
on people though.
You definitely moonwalked into
that
somebody.
would be crazy. I did moonwalk into her. I knew her though, so we were okay. So
Yeah.
I like how you sent me that, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that.
You're like,
I
I know this.
I thought you were talking about a different thing, and I was like, I don't remember that. And then I saw the video, and I was like, oh yeah, I know that.
It was
I know
really
that. Like,
funny.
don't worry.
But when he said that,
yeah.
I was like, he's totally right. That is what it felt like. It felt just like everybody was just there having a party, hanging out, having a party instead of, and that might sound like a misnomer. Everybody was playing games. That's all everybody was doing.
It was still
But
games.
It had the feeling of everybody in the group, the 100 and some people that were in the place at the time, it seemed like they all knew each other somehow.
Yes. Yeah. It was
so
definitely
it was
that
really
vibe.
cool. Yeah.
It was that
really
vibe
fun.
of like, we're all hanging out, whether or not we know each other, like we're all having a blast. Everyone's super nice. We're all getting along. And it was that thing of like, when I was I don't even know, randomly waiting for the tumbling dice thing to start. And I like walked over to say like hi to someone. They're like, you want to play a game? And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Of course I do.
No clue what your name is.
in.
Sure, I'm in. Like that. And that's what was awesome because it was fun. You're just randomly playing games with people and you're having a blast.
That's cool. I didn't know that you did that. That's cool.
Yeah, I was like, they'll find me if they. And then all of a sudden, everyone's screaming my name.
Joe,
I was like, they
Joe
found
was
me. They found
launching
me.
your name out of top of his lungs.
I was like, I'm
you know
sorry.
what? That's what he was. That's why I knew he was the perfect person to run that
Oh,
event.
he was good for that.
Yeah.
Well, that was when we were playing. I was playing Kali Mala with Jeff, Kevin, and Bill. And Kevin and Bill were in the tumbling dice tournament, and they're like, "Well, he'll just yell our names.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like we'll be fine."
Yeah, that's why it was
And it's
great.
true. Man, what a group that is. Kevin, Bill, and Jeff, and you. Oh, that's a dream team.
Oh, that might come up again. That might come
I
up
wish I was,
again.
I wish I was over there.
This is a good. We needed a fifth.
Damn.
Yeah, Ryan, you were kind of hiding.
Ryan.
My hope for next year, because obviously I understand you have a ton of responsibilities and it's the first year, so you're like figuring out everything. But my hope for next year is that you and Natalie can like play more games with everyone during everything going on.
Yeah, the hanging out is what I miss the most, I think. Like the
Yeah.
actual game playing, I was telling this to Ben earlier as well. I kind of liked the mode I was in. I liked that mode of like, I'm running this thing, so I want to be kind of above it all is not the right word, but like outside of it all, making sure it happens right. Like, to use a really, really dorky reference, like in that scene where Dumbledore's got he's got he who shall not be named in that giant water, ball in the movie. I'm like Dumbledore, and like all you guys are like inside that ball of water. I'm just like trying to keep it together.
Well, the thing
I
is,
really like that.
I know what you mean.
it was going
Yeah.
so well, and it was so much fun. It's kind of like feels good to sort of take responsibility for it and the
Yeah.
success of it, right? Like that's kind of cool to be like, yeah, I just kind of want to keep making this happen. Everybody's having so much fun. Let me just keep this energy going.
Right. And there was a ton of moments where I'm behind the counter, like, selling snacks or whatever. And I would just look, because that was the best vantage point, was behind that counter. You could see everything. And I would just like take a look and stop. And again, I'm like that meme where I'm like everyone's mom. And I'm like, this is just so fun.
I just love watching everyone.
I just want to watch you guys have fun. And that's how it felt to me. It's always
I
great.
really enjoyed during games sending you pictures of you watching everyone and saying, look at this idiot while I sent you, and then seeing you look at that message. So that made my
watching
day.
me get it. Yeah.
You laughing and then texting back and then make eye
And I don't even know
contact.
you're looking at me. Yeah. That's so
That's
funny.
the best. So
see, you know what I
good.
mean? Stuff like that's everything to me, and is that stuff.
yeah.
And I can play games all the time with you guys, with anybody else, but like the thing I think I miss the most is more of that, just hanging out. In future years, maybe we'll have some volunteers, like specifically to volunteer for the weekend. Cough, Joe's kids cough, and
Kids.
and then Natalie and I can at least just kind of work the room, hang out with people.
Yeah, exactly. So you can still, even if you don't want to play games, you can hang out, but you don't have to be like, well, I'm behind the snack counter.
Yeah, right. I
whatever.
gotta, because I also like working the registration booth, which is just greeting people. I feel like I'm kind of the first thing they see. I want to be the vibe. I want to create the vibe when they're coming in. Like,
You
we're
wanna
not the
write
stuffy
Melvy
gamers.
on-
Yeah. What's up, Melvy? The little dick fish in the
Making up.
bottom right hand corner. I should have drawn a penis on every single
Oh
sticker.
man, every single one. That would have been so
Damn it.
funny.
God damn it.
Imagine 85-year-old Melvy walking around. He's got, he drew a fish on
Little-
mine.
All the people who came because they saw like the Nerdfest advertisement who don't listen
Yeah.
to your show, and they're like, "What the hell?
What is this?
This
What is
little
this in
like
the corner?"
RJ penis."
I mean, it's like fun in here, but what the fuck?
What is this? Oh my gosh.
That'd be so
you
good.
draw it in a highlighter, so it's like hard to see.
It's like,
Yeah,
they're, like,
you have to
looking at it.
really
Wait a
look at it.
second. What
God,
the hell is this?
What is
that
this?
a penis?
It looks kind of like when you mark something to show like it was today. Like there's a different color each
Yeah,
day.
you have a different highlighter
but
every day.
every
Penis of the
time
day is
it's
orange.
a penis.
Oh my gosh, can you please do
that'd
this
be
next
so
year?
funny.
Okay.
it.
Next year you have to have
Damn
a
it,
different
Ryan.
color for each
Dang it.
day, so
All
you
right.
know. It's official.
Damn.
You guys have heard it here first.
Yeah,
so.
that's what's happening. Penis of the day next year.
Oh man, penis of the day. The other thing I want to talk about really quick was New Year. So you guys came. So you, Natalie, and Sam, Miss French Toast. If anyone, I feel like it's the only
She's a
name to talk
legendary.
about on
No,
here,
she's
so.
legend. I think everyone knows
Yeah,
her. She's
everybody knows her. Came to our house for New Year's, and we played just like a ton of kind of like party games, like Green Team Wins and monikers, and I'm trying
Order
to think.
Overload.
Yes, that one. And what
Tales
is
of
the
the
one
Arabian Nights.
that Ben could not see?
Insider.
That's what I want to do. So this was at the point in the night, because I have to say this. So we're all sitting in the living room. We're playing Insider. So someone...
First off, I was not feeling very good.
That's true. But someone is the one who's, the insider. They are the one who knows the secret word, and they're trying to like help everyone else kind of guess it secretly.
Right.
And so it was Ben for that. And he's like sitting in like a beanbag chair, and we get through the round, and then we're like, who the heck was the insider? They didn't do their job in any way. And Ben just goes, I couldn't see the word. And he's like crying in the corner, essentially.
Yeah, we were
Okay.
like, is the insider gonna help us at all?
This doesn't make any sense.
No, okay. Well, here's
Do you want to defend yourself?
I saw the card, and I thought it said oil, and then all the answers
no,
to the
it
questions.
was oil. You thought it said elf.
Okay, whatever. So, those two
right.
things are very different. I thought maybe it said elf. And the answers to the questions were like, well, obviously it's not elf, so
Yeah, it
now
was
what
like, can
do
you
I do?
eat it? Yes. And that's we
And
could
I
just
was
see
like,
it running through your head though of going, what the fuck could it be?
I didn't say anything. I didn't know what to do. I was
you did nothing.
lost.
So
I was lost at sea.
It
Without
was
a
really
sail.
funny. It was really funny because I'm like, who the heck could it be? Everyone knows how to play this game. Like, why is that? And you were just like, I didn't know what the word.
I didn't know it. Of course, it was the one time I'm the insider. It's the person who's the furthest away from me is the person reading the card.
Well, also we could all hear you because you're in a beanbag chair.
Yeah,
So like,
so, like,
when our
getting up
eyes
is
were
like-
closed, it was like.
Well, it doesn't help that I can't see. Like I need glasses or something, so that doesn't help either.
Clearly,
Yeah, you just hear Ben go, "What is it?"
Yeah,
when our eyes
it
are
was very
closed.
like.
Hold on, we should have just like reshuffled. Like I should have known. Okay,
You
this
should've just said,
round
I-
is
I
broken.
didn't see
Something's
it.
wrong.
But I was 98% sure it was elf, so we were good. We were good until the questions
I mean,
started
it did
getting
have 3
answered.
letters, so you were there, but that's about
You know,
it.
whatever.
It was fun though. New Year's
It was
fun.
It was hilarious. No, that was a good time.
Yeah,
It was
we
funny
just-
because I feel like all of us, except you, Emily, were like either tired or sick, but didn't really know it at the time.
I was definitely tired at the end though.
I felt like
was
you were
tired.
carrying it, and
I was
and
pretty good though. I was.
It was like it
surprised.
wasn't even midnight, and Ben's like, "I'm going to bed now,"
Yeah.
and I was like,
Well-
"All right, something's wrong. I think I think something's
Well, like you
wrong."
and Ben were kind of sick,
Yep,
and
I was
had
like just starting it. He was just
gotten
ending it.
over it. So I feel like I was like, man, I'm feeling great compared to like the week before. But we made it. Ben, you did not make it till midnight. We made it till midnight, but we were just like sitting around talking. Like we
Yeah.
weren't
that was
partying
great.
or the countdown. But that's the best way to do it. Cause
That's what I'm talking about. That's what we do.
is there
that's the
a
way to do
cat
it.
doing
God, I
something
wish.
over there?
I wish.
What
That's
is
all.
that mean?
My top 3 this episode is I
Kitten,
want
kitten.
cat.
I want
Well, there's a
cat.
kid. There's a kid.
me
There's a
cat.
kitty right here. She's playing with a box.
Okay, I
It's
can hear
Mittens?
her like scratching.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mittens.
Me and Mittens
She's just
became
being
friends.
sweet. Look at her.
If you don't
That's
know,
cool.
Mittens is their black cat, and if you ever go over there, she's extremely skittish. However,
That's true.
what they've told me is when there's no people around, she's the most annoying. Right?
Also true.
No,
She's
yeah.
all over the place. And my goal is to get her to be annoying to me.
You did get to pet her.
I
which
did.
Is
She
like
was
surprise,
yeah,
surprise.
She let me for a while. It was pretty great. I only drugged her twice.
Ben's parents are like, "Do you still have that cat?" Like they never see her. So the fact that you got to pet her at all, is,
You have to seek her
pretty
out.
Special.
I've learned.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you know what I really want? I'm completely changing the subject here,
fine.
but I just thought of this. I want, on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire when it's like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, when
Yeah.
it comes back from break and it like busts in and the lights go like, whoo, and it zooms in. I want to do that when it's time for like D&D talk. I want it to be like,
Oh my-
Oh my god.
Does that mean we're going to talk D&D?
Yeah,
It's time
I
to
think
talk
it means-
D&D.
So I'm gonna take a bathroom break. Actually,
Yeah.
I probably should take a bathroom break.
It's time to
during
talk
this.
D&D. Wait, you need to hear this first part.
Okay.
So at the last game night, I will try to rush through where we are at since the last podcast. But at the last one, they got upgraded. So the Zatis, the youngsters, the young
Okay.
security guards of the carnival got upgraded to full Hanataz members. And at the end of the night, Stephanie was like, "Oh yeah, we got a promotion today," and she was talking about in the game, and I thought she was talking about in real
life.
And I was like,
no.
"That's awesome!" And I said it like that, but I'm the DM, and she was like, and then I realized what she meant,
Did
and
you,
I
like-
never said anything. I just walked out the door. She was like, "Yeah, we got."
my
She was
God, are
talking to
you-
the other players,
Are
and she
you
was
not
like,
going
she was-
back
She's
now?
like,
'Cause
what
I
does
would
that
never
mean?
go back.
What does that mean is happening? He is.
I acted like I didn't know. Like
Why would
they
you
got
want
a
me to hear
promotion.
this?
She's
I don't wanna
talking to the
hear
other
this.
players. She goes, "Yeah, we got a promotion tonight." And I was like, "Hell yeah, that's awesome!" And I was,
Does it come with benefits? Like, what do you get with it? You're asking her.
and then I was like, "Ah, shit! Like we gotta get out of here, man."
We. There's no we. I'm not there.
So until this, she has absolutely no clue why you did that.
So yeah, she
Right.
still is
She's
probably
so
Pick up
wondering.
on it?
I acted like I didn't know, and I'm the dungeon master.
Are you never? I would just not ever show back up.
Yeah,
I would be
can't
done.
do this anymore. I'm so sorry. Or
So
she's
sorry,
gonna
I
have to-
can't make it every week.
One of the two of you can never come back.
Oh my gosh! What?
No,
I'm like
that's funny.
hot. I'm like sweating thinking about this.
That is so funny. Did you die inside the moment you realized? Like,
I
oh, shit.
would.
Oh,
I am
shit,
dying
this is-
now thinking
is
about
about
it.
me.
What?
Well,
I
but you
just it
should-
happened. I pushed it out of my mind. I never thought about it again. But now that I
Maybe.
was like, you know what's going to be funny, and I brought it up.
That's
Now
one
I'm
of
actually
those-
hurting.
That's like a 2 a.m. You wake up to like roll over, and you're like, God, I fucking hate
The
myself.
look she gave me when I did that is the thing I can't like recreate.
I'm
God,
gonna
what
think
was
of
it? I
this
want to
at
know
night.
so bad what she looked
It
like.
was, it was just like a. It was like a, what the fuck?
But she didn't say anything either.
Maybe,
No,
oh, wait, did she listen to this?
I don't know.
Oh my god. Stephanie, he's dying inside. So just bend.
That is the funniest shit. That stuff
my
is
God.
so funny. That's more fun. That's funnier than any kind of joke you make. Is that? Stuff.
It's funny to hear, but if
God,
it happens
that's
to
funny.
you, it
hurts.
Oh yeah, that's all you'll
like,
think about for the next 3
That's
months.
the meme of like you walk in a room and you're like, I'm so fucking awkward and stupid, and you like say it to yourself. Oh my gosh!
All right. Well, while I tell Ryan where we're at in Dungeons and
I'm gonna
Dragons,
go to the
and you
bathroom
go
quick.
upstairs, can you please get me another beer from the fridge?
Yes,
Any beer.
I was
would
about to be like,
appreciated.
Ryan,
More
what
Natalie
do you
beer.
want?
Yeah,
I
give
was
me,
about to be like,
give me,
Ryan,
give me
what
an
do you
Arnie
want?
Palmy,
Something?
please. I would love an Arnie
An
Palmy.
Arnie Palmy.
I'll send one express.
Yeah, when you knock
All right.
on the window next time, I'll see it.
Hello, everyone. Emily here from the future, I guess. I was editing the podcast, and Ben talks about D&D for about 30 minutes. So I had to come on here and warn everyone that if you do not care or want to hear that much D&D, you need to skip ahead about 30 minutes, and you'll be all set. So enjoy.
Where we last left our adventurers, we just finished chapter 1, and they had rescued some kidnapped girls from a dungeon of reptiles.
Right, the reptilians that you expertly painted.
Those I like how those turned out. That was
Amazing.
I was a big fan of that. Chapter 2 was filled with not very many painted minis. It was me running a lot of tokens. They went in the woods. They fought a bunch of zombies. I ran. So I talked about Matt Colville on the last podcast also, and from MCDM I backed Flea Mortals, and one of the things in there is running minions, which is like a recreation of a 4th edition thing, which is a bunch of bad guys that essentially have 1 HP. Like they take 1 hit to kill. And I ran the example, instead of the zombies from the adventure that I have, I ran the minion zombies from the Flea Mortals Kickstarter campaign.
Damn.
And it was awesome.
Yeah?
Where they do more damage if they're in a group, but you can, if you overkill them, then your hit can like go through a couple of them. So Stephanie, who plays this fighter with a halberd, she was just like sweeping through zombies, and then they would fall, and then they would get back up and like come at her again. It was so, I felt like that was so cool.
That sounds awesome.
It was really awesome. And then they figured out that they get back up, so they started like attacking them when they're down, kind of like skeletons in Elden Ring. You know,
Yep,
if you drop
yep.
them, then you kill them, and then they won't get back
Yep,
up.
then they're dead.
So
Is that what happened too? If you attack them while they're down, they're down for good?
Well, I made up that rule on the spot. If you
That's the
attack
way
them
to
while
do
they're
it.
down, then they don't get back up.
Okay, well, what were you going to do?
Well, the way it was is the first time they go down, they'll get back up 1 time. But if you hit them while they're down, I said that then they don't get back up.
Sure, that's awesome.
But the big thing of chapter 2 was the troop is like preparing to leave, and some of the troop leaders are gone on a mission that's supposed to take a couple hours. But when the PCs, who are the youngsters of the troop, come out of the woods, the troop leaders still aren't back. And then it goes into evening, and they're packing up to move the carnival. They're going to hit the road, and the troop leaders still aren't back. And then they get robbed at the same time that there's a fire. And what's not obvious is maybe that the fire was a distraction so that they could rob the troop.
Sure.
So the party chases those guys down. They kill the guys who robbed them in an inn. But the thing is the Hanatas are kind of like, they're kind of like shunned by society because they have this blood touch. And so now they have dead locals in an inn, and then the constable shows up at the exact same time. And he's like, well, what do we got here?
What's going on here, boys?
And he's like, you know what you can do for me? I sent some guards to go check out this butcher farm. Butcher's like a family farm up on this hill. You go up and find out what happened to those guards. Maybe I clean up this mess for you. So they got sent up that hill.
What a corrupt guy.
Yeah, right? And I felt like that session was awesome. It was one of those things where it was almost the entire 4-hour session was like a big combat. at the farm. There's guys like in the house, out of the house. There's like a locked shed. There was people like jumping in and out of windows and sneaking around, and like a character or two got dropped, and I finally like drained them all of their spell slots and resource. Like I felt like finally they were on edge a little bit. Like I had pushed them to a place that was like, okay, this feels tough, and you're having to use things. Like Seth was being attacked by some crazy lady with a fire poker, or chorus, I should say, the bard, and he spent one of his things that's like, I get a free miss. Like you miss.
Okay.
Like, and so I had a lot of fun running that, and I think they did. And then, but I was always looking at time wise. Like I want to hit a certain point at time wise, and so I had a couple of the butchers who might show up later, like run off into the woods. I was like, they just like one of them was a guy who like hangs out in the outhouse, not in that part where you would sit as a person, but like in the hole.
Oh, that's delicious.
Yeah, what the
Okay.
heck?
Like
I'm
super
already-
stinky.
He's the fucking
and
dung
gross.
eater is what he
Yeah,
is.
Filthy Floyd.
Yeah. Is that his name?
Yeah, that's his
Yes.
name.
Filthy
Yuck.
Floyd, the dung eater.
Filthy Floyd hangs out.
Well, let me
down in
ask
the
you a
hole.
question if I can.
Yeah.
So you said it was awesome, and it was like one giant combat session, it felt like.
Yeah.
Are you saying that your group enjoys do they seem to enjoy the combat sessions more than the generic role play aspects of the game?
No, I don't think that they do. I think that as a whole, no. I think there are some players in the group that like the tactical combat more than the role play, and there are some players in the group who like the role play more than the combat. And so because of that, to make everybody happy, it's when the combats need to either feel like they're kind of like fun little side things. Like,
Yep.
Of course, we're capable like heroes. Like when some random little issue comes up, we solve it easily because we're like they get to feel powerful, or it's like it's actually like scary or important to the story or whatever. And I felt like this was the second one where this felt significant in a way. It wasn't just, we're rolling dice and swinging at goblins and whatever. It's like, no, we're up here in the dark and we're up at this creepy farm, and all of a sudden a whole bunch of weird stuff is happening, and like we're kind of pushed to our edge. And that's what I feel like went well about it. There's definitely stuff I did wrong. I was running a lot of characters who had abilities. I forgot to use their pack tactics to give them advantage. I forgot to use a couple of different abilities that they had. I could have played smarter and harder. There was a big, really tough guy that I had come, and he was about to like lay into the party, and I was looking at time-wise, and I was like, man, he's going to make this go so much longer.
Yeah.
So I had
Just
him
cut
like,
it.
he's supposed to run away anyway when he gets low health, and I was like, he sees that most of the family's down, he just runs away.
He just runs away.
And and then they bust into the shed, and they find out that the bad moonshine that's been making everybody sick is not only coming from like bad, it's not just like generically bad moonshine, it's like magically bad moonshine.
It's coming from that hole. It's coming from that hole in the toilet.
Yeah. When they
Filthy Floyd is
There you go.
right, they bust into the shed. There's like a crazy cleric lady in there who has like remember the guards they were supposed to find? One of them's dead in there. The other one is still alive, but they have like weird symbols cut into them, and then the still for the moonshine comes to life, and it's an animated still.
No.
They had to fight the crazy cleric lady in the still.
Wait,
That was written in the book, in the
do you
module.
have actual pictures?
I'll find it in a second.
You
here.
have a picture of that, correct?
It's
I want
so
a mini.
dumb
I want a
looking.
mini of
They're
that.
so dumb.
That
The pictures.
I
What was
love
the
this
one I was
picture.
looking at the other day, and I was like, these compared to what
same
they were
thing.
before are like so wacky. Like they are
I'll
crazy.
find it. Hold on a sec here.
I was
I'll
gonna
find
post them, but I didn't want to like give away something ahead of time, if anyone.
I'll
What
find it
a
here in a
crazy! What a crazy idea they came up with.
Then when the animated still well, go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna carry on with that sequitur.
When the animated still falls, then
one. Wait.
I will pull it up here. All right, let me share.
That
Let me share.
was it. It's like a if a ghost could trip.
All right.
Like
this is what I was supposed to show everybody.
You need to describe it for anyone listening. Though you guys should really check out. Yes.
If anybody has seen Futurama, it is kind of like that. There's this generic robot that's in like the background of like every scene when they do this. They do this show, and it's just that's what it looks like. It looks like just like if you told an 8-year-old, "Hey, draw what you think a robot looks like," but give him
barrels are for like feet, legs. Yeah.
Well, exactly, and here's the thing. Okay, if we want to actually talk about being a dungeon master, because first time dungeon master, a lot of times you're trying to run your story, but you're trying to feel out the room. And they had this huge fight through this house, fighting tons of guys. And for me, it felt like 5 minutes because my turn never ends. It's always my turn.
Yeah.
And then I realized it's getting kind of late. And then they bust into here, and then this thing pops up. And Stephanie was like, really? We got another fight? And I looked at the time, and it was getting kind of late. And I got what she meant. She was like, I don't know that we have time for this.
Yeah, it ain't going to work.
So I had it that we played out. We went a little bit later than normal, but we played out the cleric lady with the hooks on her hands fell. The animated still fell. And then we ended the session where they're like, all right, we're going to like look around for the stuff, the stolen stuff. That's why we came up here. And then all of a sudden, boom.
This is what I'm talking about.
Is this like a mummy werewolf?
Like
what is this thing?
It says Moonshine Elemental. If a ghost took form in moonshine and then it like tripped, like why is
You're right. Why is it tripping? You're right.
Why is it like
I don't know. Why is it so
across
close to the viewer here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then what is your next one?
Don't worry about it. All right. So
okay.
But that's we ended the session with them. Everybody essentially like low hit points, out of spell slots, and I'm like, an elemental comes out of the remains of the still. And it was a cool place to stop. One good feedback I got was, and I was like, and you guys will level up next session. And what like one of the players told me, he was like, I'm really glad you told us that. Like we got some sort of like, because we're not running experience points, we're doing
like a reward.
Oh,
yeah, because you can run where you get experience points, so you know how close you are to leveling. And I'm doing just milestone leveling.
Oh, okay.
So we level each chapter, and he was like, "Thank you for telling me. Like, I just wanted to know to get ready." And I'm glad I did because
probably excited for the next.
Everybody was excited,
right?
Like Dylan and Stephanie showed up. They had their level 3 stuff already like printed out on sheets, all their abilities, like. Jesus. Dylan had his like next spells, and Stephanie is going to be a battle master fighter, so she had all of her like fighter abilities like picked out already.
Like if someone, it's one thing to play, but if someone's like, so you have to have, I'd be like, and I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I died. Oops.
Yeah.
Like I can't. It's like homework. I can't.
I turned into a moonshine still and fell down.
Yeah, I tripped on a brick when I was a moonshine.
Shit. Wow, darn.
Darn, the barrel guy got me. Like
it sounds fun to me. It sounds like when I did a one-shot scenario. So Mick, just a little aside. Mick is a guy in our a listener, a friend of mine, and he ran a one-shot D&D a one-shot D&D scenario at Nerdfest. And he used all this like Dwarven Forge and everything. Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah. And so I went over to his house like a few weeks before Nerdfest to test it because he made the whole thing up himself.
Oh, okay.
And I was a wizard. I'm always a wizard if I can be. And he had these actual cards, and they were like 5th edition cards he got from something. Ben, I don't know if you have cards too for like wizard spells.
You can go and you can buy a box that's like the entire wizard spell list. You can buy a box that's the cleric spell list.
And he gave me a choice. You know, he's like, there's like 10 cards here. You get 5 of them. You know, 2 from this. Whatever, 2 from the, and I really liked that idea. And so the idea of like, man, look at it. And he showed me all the spells for like when I'm like, you're like level 5 and level 6. I'm like, man, that would be really cool if I knew I was going from like level 4 to level 5. And now for the next week, I can pour over which, spell cards do I want to use for this new level.
I could do that. And that is cool because it's like in a game when you level up and you're like, oh man, what do I do?
Yeah, like what do I do?
Yeah. Yes.
I like playing with the cards. One thing I do like about this GUI cube thing, like the art's kind of goofy, but a lot of the items that they find, there are cards for them. So I can be like, you find this. I don't have to be like, you find and read it off while they're writing it down. Yeah. I can just be like you that find this, nice. or like you find 5 of these arrows, and I
just hand out
the card. But then because of that, I feel like if I make up anything or add anything, I need to like meet that level somewhat.
We'll start sketching.
So I didn't have like a card for it, but like one of the big things was Chorus's character is like the chosen of Jinx. And so in the last session we went into it was a shrine to the god Jinx, and inside of there was an armory. And there was like a bunch of stuff in there, and I left most of what's in the adventure module in there. But I went and I found another thing. I found from a different supplement, from a monthly thing you can get called Arcadia. It's like a D&D 5e supplement called Arcadia. It's really cool, really good. And I found a bunch of this like magical items, and one of them was called something the Sacrifice or something like that. And I changed it to Jinx's. Or, oh man, it was the Jester's... Shoot, what the heck did I call it?
Jockstrap.
The Jester's Mockery.
Definitely.
Because at the beginning of the campaign, from the adventure, I had sent out a story of how the god Jinx and the god Kismia had tricked Flemmerich, which was like an evil god. Think of like Nurgle or something like that from Warhammer.
Yep.
So they had disguised themselves as like really hot people, and he like took them in to do like a bunch of gross stuff with them, and they killed him. They killed this evil god. And so I made up that then Jinx made a like rapier from one of the bones from Flemmerich.
Oh, that's cool.
And so there is a rapier made out of bone that when wielded by the champion of Jinx lights with flame, and he can always hear laughter in his head while he's wielding it.
Oh yeah, you told me about this.
And so then, and it does bonus damage against fiends and elementals and like the kind of stuff you don't ever fight. It's +3 against stuff you never fight in the normal plane. But if you're fighting demons or gods or like that kind of stuff, it's like it's obviously a god's weapon. Well, I didn't make up all of it. I took this, I changed the name of it, I took the abilities, I made it a rapier, and I said that the chosen of Jinx can only wield it. So when they went into the armory, there's a pedestal there with a bust of Jinx on it, except to Chorus, he can see through that. That's an illusion. And inside actually is mounted this bone rapier. And as soon as he grabs it, he immediately attunes to it and can hear the laughter of the god Jinx, the trickster god Jinx in his head.
This is like...
And it lights with flame.
That's crazy.
What I liked too was like, he was like, Quember, Dylan's character was like, I want to see it, and so he like handed it to him, and immediately the flame goes out, and it's just a long piece of bone.
Yeah, so it's basically like Thor's hammer, where only the one guy can use it effectively.
Right.
This is why though I could never. I'd be like
so next level. That's so cool.
You would. Hate
it's a
if
lot.
I played.
It is a lot, but if for the right people, it's
I don't think it's like I'm not like this wouldn't be fun. I can't sit through it, first of all. And I would be saying so much stuff that you'd be like, you need to shut up. Like, you would be mad at me, where I'd be like, boo, bitch. And you'd be like, okay, so your character just got slashed.
I think that would be hilarious. I'll bet that would be so funny.
First of all, my answer to everything would be like, well, I lit it on fire. And someone would be immediately mad because they'd be like, can't fucking light everything on fire.
Can't light that on fire.
Like, just did.
Well, I rolled 18, so I can't.
Well, I kind of did. And they would be like, I don't even like her. I don't like her. I don't know why she's here.
What is she doing here?
She doesn't want to be here. It would just make me go, is that right?
Right.
Like,
you're constantly just taking a swig of your wine. I light it on fire.
Bitch. And they're like, please leave. I don't like you. You're not fun. I don't like any of this.
Don't bring her back.
Well, and the thing is like at the end of the campaign, whenever we get there, spoiler, so if you're a player in my game, please skip ahead 2 minutes. They will eventually fight Flemmerich. Now, the rules for Flemmerich actually come from this guy. Relg, look at this gross guy.
Oh, that's
Yuck.
sweet looking.
Relg the Descender, the Lord of the Corpulect. He will be Flemmerich, but he is a demon.
Somehow
He's
that
a
sounds dirty.
fiend. Right? So when
light
they
him on
go to
fire.
actually fight him, that's when the bone of Flemmerich will like be an advantage.
Will be helpful.
Exactly. This is a weapon that's been gifted to him for later.
You need
So
a
actually,
sign
might
that's
be
like,
able to light him on fire, M, because the bone rapier lights on fire.
I'm saying, when in doubt, light it on
See
fire.
how good you are at this game?
I bet
You're
I'd be
so good
great
at
at
it.
this game. He'd be like, Emily needs to leave. Like,
Yeah.
hour
gotta get
one.
It's like a fire dragon.
No,
Light him on
I had
fire.
a really
love
good
if you
idea. I
left.
thought it would be so funny if for like a short, let's say 3 to 4 sessions.
Oh, yeah, you...
At some point, my plan is for them to meet the Grim Accord, which is another like adventuring party that
We've
they're going to
talked
have to
about
work
that,
with.
yeah.
The leader of the Grim Accord is this like fire sorcerer, and
Light her
it
on
should
fire.
be played by Emily.
Fire
Like I would love if I'm like, okay, at 8 o'clock,
Guest star?
I need you to walk through the door, and then when
Only
when
if I can
this
kick it open, leave it
when
alone.
have
this
to do this,
NPC
Emily.
shows up, it is
I don't
played
think I
by
could-
Emily.
I would like
You can
fall
cosplay
asleep.
for
You should
like a
cosplay
month.
it like crazy.
Like you know who. That
Yes. Yes. Yes.
For like
please.
a
In
month's
Walmart.
time, there's Emily plays this like super crazy, very capable fire like elementalist sorcerer, and she's like kind of like weirdly mean and like crazy the whole time.
You have to do this. You have to.
I don't think I could like mentally stay
Oh
awake
my
for that
god, it
long.
would be so awesome. Just that,
We'll see,
like
we'll
one
see.
little guest appearance.
That
Oh,
would
Ben,
be-
you have to
I
get
don't
Tucker
think I
into
could
Wouldn't
do
that be good?
Yes, that would be so good.
And then she like
Em,
disappears.
for that one session, you got
I can be like,
you have to fucking
so-
own it.
I can't
Get
think I
just
could do
buzzed
that.
enough
Well,
that you don't throw it.
Buzzed.
At first,
Just a
she needs
little
to be like
That I'm not
somebody.
sassy? Is
Well,
that
no,
what you-
Yeah.
she needs to be like somebody they would work with, but is a little unhinged.
Like,
and
not
by
too
the
much.
end, she's absolutely a crazy like fire maniac,
This is
and they're like,
Emily.
"We need to kill you."
This sounds
This
familiar.
is true to life. This should not be a tough
is.
role for you.
This should not be hard. You're kind of mean. You're
And then once you've had a few, you just go fucking crazy.
I go, fuck it, and I just
start-
leave.
yeah.
And they're like, wait,
Exactly.
what just happened?
Oh my god, you have to do that.
We'll
be
I,
so
it would be the
I don't
greatest
know.
thing, and then just go crazy cosplay.
It would be so good if we've been playing for like 6 months, like our group or whatever, and then like unannounced, I
Yes.
was like, "You meet blah blah blah," and then she walks in.
yeah, arms like
Oh,
extended,
I don't think I could ever.
sauntering in.
I think Ryan
Oh
needs to come
God,
do
you
that.
have to do it. I would do it in a second. I would put on
Okay,
a wig
well,
and become Emily for that
Ryan?
one moment. Yeah, yeah. Put me in, coach.
Okay, yeah. Where you
Tap
put
me
it?
on
Anyway.
the shoulder.
Okay.
I envy you
we'll have
because and we won't talk a ton more about this because I'm sure you have things to do. You have other stuff to move
Hey,
on to.
whatever, man. Let's
everyone.
lean
But
into it. I like this.
envy you because I'm doing a little bit of dungeon mastering myself, but it's not to the scale that you're doing. Everything you just said, how you're keeping all that straight. Like, I mean, I know a lot of it's in the GUI Cube modules, but you're also, I know the work that you're doing and
No,
how
he's
much
just
modifying
24/7.
you're doing. Yeah, right. He's
Yeah.
into it like crazy. And I feel like I'm into mine like crazy as well, but it's not as sophisticated as yours is because I'm playing with the kids. And,
So it shouldn't
and
be.
Natalie.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Right?
And it shouldn't, and it's good for me because
And
my brain can't
Natalie,
really
the
work
way
at that
you-
capacity. Well, Natalie's kind of the Emily. I don't think she would play. if
She's
it
also
wasn't
like,
for the- yeah.
tell her
I
to
think
light shit on fire.
she likes it. She does like it but she likes it
Yeah.
for different reasons than I do, and that Ben
Okay.
would. Like she enjoys it because we're all spending time together, and the kids aren't just on their iPads,
On their
you know,
iPads, yeah,
or you know what I
exactly.
mean, or alone by themselves doing. We're all together,
Alone.
and
You either lock them in a room or they can go on their iPads. Those
well,
are their
there's a
choices
key,
when
but they don't know where it is.
they don't know.
No,
They have to unlock the game
part
on
of
the
the
iPad
adventure.
too.
they have to knock. They have to like pound their fit. If they can
It was
break
in
through
the
door,
adventure
they can get
module.
out.
It wasn't my idea.
Yeah, that's me telling the police.
I didn't write this.
Yeah,
I'm just running it.
Wasn't me. Wasn't me, guys.
but no.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, I just envy you doing all that grown up stuff that I'm doing a lot less, and it's just as, and I'm having a ball. So I can't imagine how much fun you're having.
Well, I really, in this last session, it was very role play. Very role. The only combat we did was
that's when
theater of the mind.
I gotta go.
We didn't even bust out the minis. They went to a bridge, and at the bridge was a headless troll, but he still is demanding pay to cross his bridge.
How?
And they're like,
sign language.
Why should we pay this guy? Like, I don't know. And then the thing in the module is, well, if they're nice to him, he like tells them about a couple of, there's a magic item, and then there's the actual way to get into that Shrine of Jinx. But if they're mean to him or they do a bunch of bad stuff, then like they never get to find out about
Does
that.
he talk out of his butt like Ace Ventura? If he's headless, how is he talking to them?
It's just his head. Or is
he like holding it?
Is he
It's
holding
just
his
him.
head? Oh no, he's bodiless.
It's just his head.
Bodiless troll. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. It's just.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's just his head.
Well,
I'm
then
like a
just walk
headless
past
troll.
it.
No.
It's your quest.
So they
Light a fire.
It is just his head. Well, his body is down down below in a cave.
You think it'll burn?
This is what I'm saying. This is why
that
no
sounds
one would
so
enjoy
cool,
it.
man. No, that would be fun, Emily. That would be fun.
Ryan, you're gonna
My
come with
favorite
the
thing-
wig. I'll get it all set up for you.
My favorite thing was at
Kick
the end
in
of the
the door.
session. Remember, the troop leaders were missing. They've been missing for a while. Finally, two of them come back. Cray the Blade comes back. He's wavering on his horse, and as soon as he comes into the camp, he finally collapses. He falls to the ground with a bunch of injuries and cuts on him. And as he falls, you can see Kalnase, the woman leader of the troop, is draped over the horse, passed out. She's there, and she gets, so Quember, who's the cleric, runs up, tries to heal both of them. As soon as she gets healed a little bit, she drops her halberd, and it drops kind of like the ring does in Lord of the Rings, where it's like way too heavy, or like
You mean they have a
Mjolnir.
magnet
Like on
under
the floor?
It just goes boom. It just falls. Like it's the
If
kind
you
of
watch
thing.
the
Like,
behind the scenes, you would know.
it's the kind of thing where like if you went to pick it up, you'd be like, well, how can anybody like wield
this is
this?
too heavy.
Okay.
And it's an ancestry weapon for Kasserine, who's Stephanie's character. When she wields it, she can wield it easily. But anybody else who tries to pick it up is
it's
like,
heavy?
this is so freaking
Very
heavy. Like, how do you even do
Warhammerish?
this? But she's a half orc with an ogre blood touch. She's like super,
Classic.
super strong.
Classic.
All right, so you're on the outside. You're playing with 5 other people,
Right.
right? You have Ryan Quinn, you have Stephanie, you have Seth, you have what's the other
Dylan.
guy, the younger guy?
Dylan and
Phil?
Phil.
Phil, and then Dylan. Okay, in order, who's having the most fun and the least fun
like Stephanie's
by your
having a blast.
observation?
Stephanie is having the most fun.
Because she's just so badass.
She's new and badass. She's new to the game and badass, and like all of her ideas are just like easy
Yeah, she
to
seems like she's having a
let
blast.
happen. You know, she's like, her thing is like, how are you going to get this guy out of here? He's injured. She's like, I just pick him up and throw him over my
Throw him
shoulder,
over-
like I'm
yeah.
a big badass half orc. And
Light
she's
it on
like, oh
fire.
yeah. And then like jokes around about like Quember is her small spoon at night. Like, because Dylan's her husband, so they're
Yeah.
like have this like
Go into more
in-game
depth about that,
relationship.
please. Okay.
Can you describe where
Can
the
I
hands are
roll to
touching?
get more details?
Only if you roll a 20.
I think lowest probably is like Quinn likes role playing the most, and I don't know that we've had a lot of good sessions where he can just like goof around and be this like he is this female spell dancer, so he like does it's a special class for this GUI cube thing.
Yep.
And he casts magic by doing like these dances. It's really cool in combat because he can charge up spells and then cast like badass versions of them if he
Wait, does he have to dance to charge them up?
Yes, he has to dance to charge them up.
I can't
Physically?
make it.
Like,
so.
is he LARPing a little bit?
Are
Well,
you making him
he plays
physically
DDR.
dance?
You make him play
So wait,
DDR?
do you make
Yeah.
him?
Do you
No,
seriously
up.
make him play
No,
DDR?
Hold
not really.
Oh my
We
god!
should.
Oh my
that's so
god! I was
awesome.
like, hold the fucking phone.
So he has
Right.
to play around a DDR.
Baby, you're all
Why
that I
not?
want when you're lying here. in
But that's the
my
thing,
arms.
right? Like,
song was
okay,
on the other
I
day.
Yeah.
don't care. I only have fun if everybody has fun.
Yeah.
I only have fun if everybody
So you
has
don't
fun,
want
and
me
I'm
to-
constantly like the last session was about like powering up Seth's bard character, so hopefully he can like be powerful. The next session is going to be like giving Kenna some more options. I'm going to maybe try to throw in a companion. Like I got this owlbear mini, and she can have like this owlbear that works with her.
That's cool.
And then we'll have to touch on Phil's side story. Like the thing is like addressing what everybody wants, and the kind of feedback I want is like, here's what I like what you're doing. Great, that's awesome. I want to hear what are you not getting out of this, so that I can address that. That's what I want. So when
more fire.
When Seth said that I like that you told us we were going to level up, I need that feedback of like,
that's true.
What is our progression? To me, that was like, okay, you need to know like where we're at and where we're going. I will let you know.
Just to make the last time not awkward, every time you end the night with, that's awesome, and then you leave.
Oh my gosh, are you
kidding
me?
And they will never know.
I made an ass of myself.
Say it every time. Just every time go, that's
Stand
awesome.
up, pound your fists on the table like you are the most excited that's ever happened.
And then just
wow, guys.
Skedaddle. Just get out of there.
I couldn't take the head trip. I could not take the head trip of tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what you could get. I just, whenever I play with the kids, we're done, and I'm like, tell me why you liked everything I did.
If you didn't like it, you need to go to your room now.
I'll argue with them. I didn't like this part. Yes,
well,
you did.
Bitch, even though it's like Scarlet.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But here's the difference.
If you sucked.
If I get told what I'm doing wrong, I can address that. If I don't get told anything,
that's not how Ryan and I
make
work.
up so much shit that I'm doing wrong. The last game session we had was awful. And I would love if somebody would say, like, no, I had a great time. But in my opinion, it was a disaster. I had this whole like combat with these like bandits planned that never happened. So I rearranged all this stuff, and they all happened in a weird order, and like it was crazy. And if somebody came up and said, you know what, I really loved that weird role play with the head of the troll, and then how we went into the shrine or whatever, I'd be like, oh, that's awesome, you know. But like, I don't know. Being a dungeon master is entirely like you being in your own head of like, I suck, I'm an idiot, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to show up every week.
Give me validation, please.
I want to say a quote from you. First of all, this is not about like D&D. This is, and I told Ryan this one time, this is just in general. You saying, I want to improve. So tell me about something to improve on, and I'll decide if you're right or wrong.
Right.
You're most likely wrong, but, and then that was a direct quote.
That's how you got it. You gotta live your life.
You should shut the F up, but you can tell me about it.
Let me know.
I'll decide if you're right or wrong.
Just let me know if I need to act on it.
I'll decide though.
Look, you gotta have confidence.
You can tell me, but I'm gonna immediately tell you you're wrong.
There's an NSFW thing that relates to that I want to say badly, but I'll wait until we're off the show to tell you that really relates to that exact thing that somebody said, and I was like, I don't think I agree with that actually. So I'm deciding that they're wrong.
Can we just put the like black sensor over Ryan's mouth? It's just like,
wow.
While I say this, yeah, exactly. No, it's pretty funny.
Oh my gosh!
All right, we have gone way over time for my D&D talk, but that's fine.
You went like 40 minutes.
That was good
I can't because you didn't stop me. All right,
have we started?
Wait a second, I never hit the record button.
Have we started the show?
You said that. Okay, I do have a
listener question. Ryan, you can't hear the music?
All right, is there music now? No,
there's music.
Nothing.
No, I feel so bad for you.
Nothing.
Sorry.
Well, hopefully I'm not everybody else.
But
hopefully there is music
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah.
Let me like write down the time just in case.
No, I remember this happened last time.
No. Okay, so it comes from Nuclear Knight 83, aka Peter.
Peter, what's up, buddy?
We met at Nerdfest.
What's up, playa?
He was awesome. He
I
was
didn't
super
get to
nice.
meet Peter.
He was great.
I'm so disappointed.
Okay,
I'm mad about that.
This is so funny because I met him multiple times. And then I was like, hey, Ben, that's, and I was like telling him. And then when we went home, he's like, I never met him. I'm like, what are you talking about?
For
He's
anybody
been around all night.
For anybody who listens to this podcast and saw me at Nerdfest and I didn't talk to you, it wasn't because I think I'm cooler than you. It's because I as much as I pretend otherwise, I have so much social anxiety. And every single person I saw that I didn't know, I was so afraid to talk to. And anybody who came up and talked to me instead, I was so grateful for that. So I should have reached out more. I wish I did.
I bet you that everybody could say that same thing. that was
Yeah.
at Nerd Fest. You know what I mean? I'm sure everybody's
I
got
also
that kind of
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Peter is good people.
He's super nice.
He
was great. It was actually funny because so on Saturday was the night that like we said was like a party, and I was like,
crazy.
well, tonight's my night that like we don't have anything to do tomorrow. Tonight's my night too. Like if I want to have a drink, I'm gonna have a drink, right? And then so I had like rum and Coke and a couple and whatnot. And then the next day, Sunday morning, people were like, "So how you feeling? You feeling okay?" And I was like,
Peter did that too, right?
And I was like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I was like, I don't understand. And then I was like, no, you guys.
I must have been crazy last night. What was wrong?
I mean, I think I was moonwalking into people, but other than that, like, that was great. But I enjoyed that. That was funny. But he said, okay, his question was, if you didn't play games, what would be your hobbies? Ben?
Me first?
Sure.
Me going first is a bad answer because
Okay, well, then not
the
you.
problem is that it could be anything. I just love having a hobby.
I think
Right? You could put anything in front of me and say,
kinda
this is
true.
what you need to get into, and I'll get into it. Like I'm always super into working out.
Okay, but
other
if we
things
didn't
that
have
I've
board
been,
games, what are your other
if I haven't
hobbies?
I've been into like audio very much. I've built my own speakers
That
and
is
gotten
true.
into super high-end audio stuff. When I was a kid, I got really into RC cars. Like I love like super fast like RC cars, and like nowadays they're all electric. I would love to get one of those, or like even like RC planes, or like I love like painting and minis and models and stuff. I used to build models as a kid. I could probably get into like being a train guy, like having my whole setup
You
downstairs.
could be that guy,
The thing
definitely.
is like I could get into anything. If my hobby was like going backpacking or whatever, I could get super into that, getting all the cool gear and like
Okay,
planning trips and like
Let's say
geocaching?
someone said,
I don't know. That's like the one thing.
like it was like wrong.
it's fun. It's really fun.
Really?
I've never.
Oh
I think
yeah,
it's
we've done
fun
it a
to
ton.
find, like,
the
the little
kids
prize.
love it, dude. The kids are great. They love it.
I just
it's
need
like a
somebody.
little treasure, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can get into anything
Board
if
to
somebody
play-
gives
not
me
board to
that
play.
appetizer.
A broad game, so he does that.
Geocaching.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's great. You guys should do it. There's probably a ton in your area.
It probably
it's fun.
is like safe forest and stuff.
Yep.
Wait, Ben,
It
if
is
you had to
really
pick
fun.
one hobby though, let's say like
Oh,
on the weekends you
that's
can't play games,
my
what would you
point.
pick though?
That's my point. Is
Oh, God.
like there are hobbies I have now, but if like gaming was eliminated,
Anything.
which I'm assuming is video games and
I
board
have a
games.
hobby for you. How about like house projects?
No, that's a hobby I could never have.
That's work.
Yeah, that's just annoying.
To us,
Painting?
I think.
Painting.
Yeah, I could get into painting.
Painting the
music,
house?
playing guitar, whatever. Like
We mean
no.
painting. No, like no, don't pretend. Paint. If I said you have to paint the house,
That's not a hobby. That's work.
that could be a hobby.
Not for me.
Well, that's
I guess I can't get into anything then.
okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Says.
Not everything. Yeah, painting
Yeah.
the house, like the outside of the house, or like a mural. A mural
no,
could be
like,
cool.
Like
Yeah, that'd be
inside
cool.
DIY.
Painting like the walls.
stuff.
Yeah, that to
No.
me that sounds like a chore. Natalie likes doing house stuff a lot. I to me it's just work. Personally,
I mean, for me, it's work, but I enjoy doing it just because I get like the benefit
Yeah.
at the end.
yeah, you're bettering the house you live in.
But it is still like work. I mean, I obviously like it more than Ben, but I don't know. Okay, Ryan, what would yours be?
Is it so? It's gaming of all types is gone. So I'm
It's saying-
assuming no
yeah,
board
let's say
and
no,
video games.
no board or video games.
Let's
yeah.
see. Well, I kind of agree with Ben where I just enjoy having a hobby of any kind. I really wanted to
Like
get
if
into.
someone just set
This
you
might
up,
sound
you'd be
weird.
good.
Yeah, well, like so there's a couple things I really have wanted to do. Like I really wanted to get a lathe and wood turn.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, wouldn't that be a blast?
Yes,
I would love that.
would be so fun. I wanted
Okay,
to for a while.
I
I almost
agree
did
with
it. I wanted
that.
to like set up the garage, get this like nice lathe,
It always
and just
looks
like
so fun to be like,
and just like yeah,
and like,
oh, I made a bowl.
man.
Oh, cool! I
Yes.
made a dildo.
And I
Yeah,
would,
something like
okay,
really sweet.
all my friends would just be
would.
like candlesticks. Like that's all they
It's
would
cracked
fucking
a
get.
little.
Little
Yes,
bit
and I'd be
cracked.
like, look, it's like a weird sculpture. Like it would just be me
$500
being like, like
Right.
It's like perfectly sculpted.
God, it
Perfect.
looks so.
God.
It looks like so
It doesn't even make
satisfying,
sense
though,
that you
to
made
do
it on a
it.
lathe because
No.
it's like not circular.
right.
It's like not even in any way. It's like
It's
out
like-
of like
it's like-
wacky doodle. Yeah, it wouldn't.
But I really
No.
wanted to make a chessboard out of like I would.
Oh my God!
turn my
If
own
you get a
chessboard.
lathe, I'm like we're hanging out.
Yeah,
for a
wouldn't
week
that be so
because-
fun?
Oh my gosh!
I know. I really want to do that. Also, when I was in high school, I got really into sex, and I think I would really like to do that. If I a little, just as a hobby.
that could be
But
your
is that
hobby.
Natalie's
That would
hobby?
be really fun. Yeah, that would be cool. I think
Unfortunately,
Natalie's
it
the
takes
opposite.
a partner.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
not her
exactly. Well,
hobby.
not necessarily. No, but I think that's Natalie's house painting is sex.
Exactly.
That's where she's
it's
like,
work,
"Eh,
but
it's
there's
kind of a
a
chore."
benefit.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool because you get to see this, but yeah, it's more of a
It's
job.
fine, but
No, like, so I think I love playing guitar. I'd play guitar. I would, kind of like Ben. I think I would just do anything else. It's not hard for me to find something I enjoy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
right.
Like,
My main point was I would never not have a hobby. You
Yeah.
could continue to eliminate the options that I have, and I would continue to
I'd
find
find
hobbies
something
that
else.
are available. They would never end. I would always find something to be obsessed with.
but let's get a lathe, Emily, and we'll be the wood turners.
Yes. Oh my God, I want to do that so bad.
Yeah, I know. That sounds so
Also,
fun.
what is it called when you have like clay and you make bowls and stuff?
Yeah, pottery.
Yes.
I want to. So we have one.
That would be fun.
But yes, I know. I want.
do you mean we
exactly.
have one?
Well, we have one. I bought one for Lexi. It's like a little kid one kind of.
I'm fine with that.
But I wanted to get a what is
Like
it
a
called?
legit,
the
like-
the
yeah.
turntable thing. And then
Someone's,
the only thing that
screaming right
stops
now.
me. I
The only
know.
reason you want that is so you can recreate Ghost.
Yeah, but I want to
Ryan
be.
and I have been talking.
I want somebody else to be behind me. I want to be the one that they put their
It's
hand
always
on.
You're there.
Whenever
Emily,
you
and
do it,
Emily's
you're like,
hands wrap around
you're like,
you.
You're like
hey,
making
Natalie,
me- yeah.
I'm gonna go make some
gonna
pottery, and
ghost
she's
Ryan.
like, yeah, that's fine.
Right.
And you're like, no, I don't
It's
think
so
you get
funny.
it.
It's so funny if every time you were throwing mud or whatever the hell it's called,
Yeah.
you were you said it in the same way that you were like, I'm going to bed naked tonight. You were like, I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna be
Just,
making a bowl.
doing some
and
pottery.
and she never comes
like,
out. And
"That's
every single time you go out there, you're like, I bet tonight's the night that
night
she comes,
she takes the bait.
wraps her arms around me, and it never happens.
No, I just hear when the door closes, I just hear Whitney Houston blaring in the background, just dancing around the kitchen alone. But yeah, pottery. The only thing that stopped me with doing that was you probably have to have a kiln.
Yeah, you probably have to have a kiln.
Yeah, and
to,
so that's expensive, and the electricity to run that thing if you're doing that, or I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I don't know
how
how
hot
that
where are you gonna vent that? So then that
I have to put
and
on
wood
the stove.
turning are probably the two.
wood turning always seems so it seems so fun.
Damn
it.
Wow, let's do it.
What I never understand for that is someone's like, I made 4 table legs, and you're like, and they look the same. Mine
Yeah,
would be
how?
so fucking whack.
Oh, it'd be all
Like,
wonky.
that one's skinny, that one's bigger. These
And we
two
call it art.
real fucking messed up. Like it would be
Nothing
so
sits
crazy.
on this table, but it was fun.
Don't put anything on there.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
So no, I'm subscribed to 10 wood turner YouTube channels, and I'll just watch them at night.
Okay, well, I feel like we need to chip in and share
Let's get a
the price.
communal
We need to do
communal
that.
lathe.
I bet you could buy a used one.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
they're all over Craigslist.
Fucking A.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it.
We need to.
All right, we're gonna start a business. You think of the name.
We'll make a
I got
board game
wood.
shit.
We'll call it
for
I got wood or something.
Oh my god, there's a place near us. It's like a restaurant called Dick's Last Resort.
Oh yeah,
And-
where they just
yeah.
yell at you. Is that the one
Yeah,
where they just yell at you?
and they're always like, you take dick pics for the hashtag and shit
Yeah.
like that. And I was like, man, this sounds like the worst place ever.
We went there for Gen Con one year. We didn't know.
I was gonna say I really want to bring you guys and just be like, wow, what is this? And
They were yelling at us like they do, and we all were just like, we're not doing that.
I don't want to do this. Yeah,
No.
I don't-
And they were like, okay, sorry, we kind of had to.
okay. That they're
Yeah,
probably like,
yeah, it
thank
was
God
pretty
I don't have to yell at someone. Oh my gosh. For a hobby, I don't know, because I guess my hobby's always been, wow, look at George behind Ben.
I see him.
So
oh my
majestic.
God, I see him.
Okay.
Give him to
My
me.
hobby has always been video and photography, which
Being lame.
I know, especially nowadays. Nowadays with Instagram and stuff, it's like, oh, you would do a reel, and I'm like, well, before there were fucking reels, bitch. But
Right.
I don't know. I feel like I don't. Gardening. I'm like a loser. I don't have anything.
Just tell
My
us.
hobby is like making sure
gardening?
the kids. Yeah, if I didn't have kids, fucking being like
No, not a kid thing. Don't say anything
snack.
about the kids because the kids is all work.
Well,
Making sure
that's
the
what
kids
I'm
are good.
saying.
No,
I don't
what do you
have
fun
hobbies because I have kids.
But if you didn't have gaming, because I have forced you
But
to
I still
become a
have
gamer.
kids.
What do you
Yeah,
do?
but I mean, we have kids too, and we still make time. You can make
So
time. What do you have
we
fun
think
with?
about that scenario, guys? You have kids. I have kids. Yeah, I don't have hobbies because of kids. Let's not talk about hashtags.
I think I
You're just thinking
disagree
about it too
on.
much.
I think I disagree that that's the reason. That's not the reason you don't have hobbies.
My hobbies would be photography and video, but I also do
Okay.
that for work. And
Yeah.
so
So is it
therefore
even
it's like
fun?
wah, wah.
Yeah, is it
No,
even
I
fun
usually
then?
kind of hate it. So
You don't want to
Yeah.
build like an RC like airplane and fly it around?
I want to fucking lathe it.
Oh,
I
have
don't
you guys
know.
ever done stunt? I fly stunt kites too.
Really?
What
No,
does
I
that
never
mean?
have.
You got so like a regular kite. You just like put it up in the air. You have one string and you just kind of sit there with it, right?
It's a stunt kite.
A
You do,
stunt
like,
kite. It's pretty dorky.
flips
Yes,
or
yes, yes. It's got two handles, and you go out and you like
No.
pull one handle, yeah, and then the side of it turns, and you can make it do loop-de-loops and like fly all around. You
Yeah.
can land it on the beach. Oh, it's so
Also, Ryan,
fucking
you could
sweet.
have a podcast about like weird fucking jobs. And shit
I
you've done.
know.
Like you've had the
Yep.
craziest
But-
life. I feel like.
Like
Yeah.
I was in a
Yeah, that's
work
true.
meeting the other day, and some dude was like, "Oh man, I just bought a new Emotiva amp for his stereo," and I was like, "Hell yeah!" Like,
Yeah,
man, I
buddy.
would have loved to have an Emotiva amp. I used to have a bunch of Parasound amps, but I had to sell them. When we had kids, and I built my own speakers, and he was like, "Oh, really?" He was like, "Man, you got to tell me what Parasound amps you have." And I was like,
You
"A
just shut
fellow
up.
audiophile." Like, I was like, "So there is no shortage
Yeah.
of hobbies that I can like disappear
Same.
into, and they're all too expensive, and I love that."
Everyone,
my
that,
hobby
like a
would be.
thing. We have to pool our money for this wood turner, for this lathe,
Yeah,
Emily.
yeah.
because
We need
that
to do
stuff.
that.
Well, because you got to
We
get
do
the
that.
lathe. You got to get those, those those
the
tools.
like.
They got to be so sharp, or else they kick back
Well,
the wood
that's
into your
what.
face.
That's the thing. Like day one, I'm gonna get shot in the fucking
Yeah,
face, and I'm gonna have like a bruise in my eye.
And then I'll like step in right behind you, like
We're gonna have to ghost the lathe, Ryan.
I
We're gonna have to.
Yeah,
Fucking,
I'll be like behind you, like
it's gonna be
if we do this, we're going down together.
Ben and Natalie are gonna come out to like the garage. And we're gonna be in there, like
both
losing control of the goddamn
We're
lathe.
like blood everywhere, just like on the floor.
It's fine. You
Emily's
guys are
yelling, "I'm
gone.
gonna need some help in here."
Light
Me
on
and
fire.
Natalie will just Brady
Light it on
bunch.
fire.
Yep.
Have a
Then you
bunch.
guys are gonna have to
You guys are gonna
fuse
Brady
together
bunch.
with all the
Brady
kids.
bunch.
Yep,
Okay, as long as we're all in agreement, I feel like that
That's
works.
fine.
that's
right?
fine.
That
Yeah,
works.
that's fine with me.
Okay.
If you
All right,
can't
gang.
be with me, she's gonna have to go to you, Ben.
All right, gang, it's that time for our top 3 countdown of the month. Yeah,
Yeah.
what's the? How does the White Lotus song go?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I like that show. That's a good show.
All right, this month we are the options available for the top 3 countdown were tabletop gaming, video games, and movies and TV. That's right, it is a standard month. You could pretty much pick any nerdy topic you wanted and somehow fit it into that category, and it's
true.
probably going to work.
That is true.
I think I'll go first, and we'll go counterclockwise.
Like,
So
you
it's gonna
always
go
say this,
Ben.
like-
Ryan and Emily.
Okay.
All right.
My number 3 pick for this month is a game I have talked about before, and I just could not help bringing it up again, because if anybody ever asked me to play this game under any situation with any company, I would always say yes. Gamers, family, new gamers, it doesn't matter. I'll use your term, Ryan, nons.
Beautiful.
I could pull this game out. The game I am referring to is the Guild of Merchant Explorers,
I almost did this.
a
And
Gamecaster's
Gamecaster's
Essential.
Damn it. You beat me to it.
Damn it.
Dang it.
I've
Oh,
talked about this
speaking
on
of
the
that.
podcast before.
Look at this real quick. I got a sticker sheet. We made
look at that.
Essential.
the
I need to
Gamecast
put a
Essential.
I need to put that on my copy of Guild of Merchant Explorers.
Whatever essentials you own, I'll give you stickers for.
I'll tag them.
There's something about this game that it's just like when you're playing it, you feel like you're thinking so hard, but the rules are so simple.
Yes.
Right? You could sit people down and be like, you could explain to them how the game works in a couple of minutes. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to think so hard during your turns. And
no, I mean, it's not so hard. Like, it's not like you're saying it's not like a heavy game think.
No, but
you are thinking.
But I feel like that thoughtful time spent on your turn pays off, right? That investment pays off, but everyone is playing their own game, feeling like they're making their own progress and having their own fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, like I've said it before, but I will quickly explain it again. You get a map. There's a bunch of maps that come in the box. Everybody plays the same map, and each map comes with a set of goals that are appropriate for that map. They might be like, you need to explore ruin A and D, and if you do that first, you get 10 points. It's money or whatever, but it's points. But essentially, on your turn, a card is going to come out that's going to say what type of terrain you can explore. And you can explore in a continuous from anywhere you've explored before. Now, everybody has a starting spot that you start from, but after that, you can only ever place exploration tiles adjacent to another piece of your color. And so you continue to explore out, and as the tiles come out, they'll be like, 2 desert spaces or 2 adjacent spaces or 3 water spaces in a line. And whenever you completely fill in a region, and a region is a continuous tiles or continuous spaces of the same color.
Yeah.
If you completely fill in a region, you get to put a village. A village is a different wood piece than a cube. After the round is done, where all the cards have come out and all the exploration is done, maybe people went in different directions, you remove cubes from the board. Any other piece that you put on the board, exploring a ruined space puts a tile on that says you can't explore it anymore. Exploring a region completely gets you a village. Exploring a wizard's tower puts a gray, like non-color piece on the board.
Is it called a wizard's tower?
I think it is.
Is it?
You remove only cubes from the board. Next round starts. Now you can start from any pieces of your color, which may be villages that were left out there. Mm-hmm. So now your board is different than your neighbor's board is different than your neighbor's board.
But you all have the same actions.
You all have the same, except each round,
the best part of the game.
The best part of the game. There's a deck of unique actions that are extremely powerful compared to the base actions. Like, if the base actions are explore 2 desert spaces, it might be explore any combination of 3 desert spaces and 2 grassland spaces, right? The special actions are super powerful. And when a card comes out that is like 1, 2, 3, right, they're for each round, you go to this deck of the special actions, draw 2, you have to keep 1, you're going to save that for the whole rest of the game. So now for the rest of the game, every time the 1 comes out, that's a special action for you. And it's different for me than it is from Emily than it is for Ryan. And so you're constructing your strategy over the course of the game, and then it sort of like builds out the way in which you explore, because when your powerful action comes out, you do something very different than all the other players. And that's where the magic happens. And there's just something about this game that I just can never, like, I never would say no to playing this.
No, it's a super fun game. Like, I'm always excited for this game.
It's essential.
I know
That's
it
all
was
you can
interesting.
say.
What I find most interesting about this game is I never find that opinion to be controversial. I have never played this game with anybody who doesn't completely agree with everything.
Yeah,
that
like,
was just
love it. They don't love it. I have a couple insights as to why. Maybe.
Go ahead. Okay. Lay it on me.
It's kind of like what you said at the beginning, Ben. I think the game is light enough that it's accessible to anybody. But while you're playing, there's a ton of decision space with each card. You mentioned like thinking really hard, and then Emily was kind of like, well, you're not, it's not like you're like taxing your brain. Both those statements are true. It's more that there's not always, okay, this is happening, this is the most obvious move, and then you're just waiting for that. Usually there's a lot of different ways to go, especially in the later rounds when you have different villages out there. And so that's really juicy. It's one of those games where you're not really ever having a bad turn. Almost every card that's played is fun, is like building towards something, or I covered this up, I get a treasure card, or oh my gosh, I get 3 coins for being on that mountain space, and I'm only now 1 or 2 spots away from getting my 3rd wizard tower, and now I get, that's going to get me 12 points.
I can't believe they're called wizard towers.
Yeah, maybe they're not. Are they just towers? Maybe there's some sort of
wizard. I think they're wizard towers.
Yeah,
man,
but
that's crazy.
There's usually moments in this game, which I love about this, where you feel like you're cheating. You're like, I'm getting so many points. This feels wrong. But that's happening to everyone.
You see other people grabbing a bunch of money, and you're like, should I be doing that? But then your next turn, you're like, you do that. And you grab a ton of money, or whatever.
I was having, in our recent play, for example, there was like 3 turns in a row. I was like, I am getting so many points. I'm going to lap everybody. And then I was like, this is how crazy. But then everybody had those
cocky
turns. At the end of the game, Emily ended up winning. I thought I was like, it's me or Ben. And then Emily's like, well, I get all these points too. Yeah, and then
funny.
But you can cheat in this game, and no one else notices. And it's
that is the one thing someone could easily cheat in this.
It's easy to cheat in this game, but okay, it's also a game where that's not. God, this game has so many good things going for it. There's a lot of games where the winning is like really integral to the experience. In this game, the experience trumps the winning tenfold, I think. Yeah. I mean, you want to win, of course, but at the end, it's like you're still just like, I got a mess of points. You got a mess of points. Oh man, your mess of points is bigger than my mess of points. But the board, it's still so good and fun, and it just feels great. And it kind of feels like a roll and write game with pieces. And so it's got that lightness to it, that quickness to it, and I think everything is in its favor for being. It's like a perfect recipe for being like a game that everyone mass appeal loves.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, I didn't remember that Emily won. I honestly didn't, because what I remembered, I remembered was me leaning over to you and being like, "Okay, you know how the only card left is the 3 water space? Well, look at my board.
20 points. I'm gonna get 20 points
when these 3 water spaces are connected. Look what happens.
If I remember correctly,
same. I was doing that all game.
I remember Ben being super cocky and being like, I don't even know what the score was. 180.
I love
whatever
playing
it
the
was.
bad guy.
And
That's my favorite thing.
And then I said my score, and then I said, "Oh, I didn't add up all these things, did you?" And he's like, "Yes, I did." And he turned to a troll, and he was
I was like,
angry
all of a sudden,
immediately.
Emily wins by 10 points.
And I was like, "Oh, well, my score is 220, or whatever the heck it was. I don't know."
Then she came up to me after the game was over, like 10 minutes later, and she was like,
"See that?"
She was like, "Ryan, I took those points 3 different times during the game."
I knew it.
I took them just to be an
no way.
I just kept taking them.
Yes, again and again.
Don't worry, none of us beat Gage's score. So,
God damn.
What's the high score in your group that you've played?
I think Gage got like 190 something.
I've been in the 190s. Oh, I want to know what score it is. My high game was like 193.
I know, now it's like, what is?
All right. Let's see here.
Like,
but the different maps score different points.
That's true.
He scored 194.
Of course.
What? Okay, wait. What I get last time? What I get last time?
We were all low. All of us were pretty low.
It was pretty low on the volcano map.
Yeah.
Well, the volcano map's kind of tricky. You can't go around.
You can't build on it.
Yeah.
You can't build on it.
Emily won with 152.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's pretty low, I think, for like a winning score, right? Usually the winning score is like in the 170s or higher. That I've noticed on the base map anyway. It was the lowest score I've ever had. That game is
fun to look
good.
around because other than your 1, 2, and 3, you all have the same actions. So it's fun to look around, and like when we first went,
what direction did you go?
A couple times I looked at you guys, and you guys had like so many like towns and this and that, and I was like, oh shit, because I had like one.
I better get moving.
Thank you for convincing us that you cheated.
And so I cheated, and at that point, no, but like it's that thing where you're like, oh, well, I'm going in a totally different direction, and like. and all of a sudden everybody else is like, treasure, treasure, this and that. And you're like, should I be doing that? Should I be going
nothing.
north? I'm going south. I don't know what I'm doing. Like,
and then you get there eventually.
And then, yeah, you get there and you're like, oh, well, now I have apparently wizard towers. I don't know. But
it already has all that stuff going for it. All that like accessibility, the lightness. And then you add in those cards, those bonus cards that give you the stuff that nobody else can do. And it takes the game from great to amazing.
The thing is, that whole deck, which it's a big deck of cards. Every single time I've drawn my 2 cards from there, I go, oh man, these are both so good.
See, the last time we played,
every time, and I'm like, I bet you guys have a bunch of crap because these are what's going to win me the game.
Although
they're all good.
There isn't crap, but the last time we played, for when we were all playing together, I was getting the ones that I would consider like crap because they were
you won. What are you talking about?
But those were not my winning. Like those were not my helpful things.
Me too.
Because sometimes you get where it's like you're gonna bounce around until you hit water. You know what I mean? It's like something crazy. Mine were like 3 mountain and a water, and I was like,
I'm not by that. I'm not going over there.
Yeah, this is not helping me. And so obviously they still help, but they were not the ones where you're like, oh shit, man, I'm gonna really get crazy.
This is crappy. I better cheat to win now.
So I cheated.
Exactly.
And it worked great. It worked great. I won.
Obviously.
I won.
I noticed.
No, that game is so much fun. Well, I mean, playing it with you guys was great too. It's just always fun playing games together. Well, you always just fuck around.
That's true. This fucker. This
guy. Motherfucker.
But yeah, I mean, that wraps it up, right? If anybody ever pulled this out and said, "Do you want to play this?" I just can't imagine I would ever say no. I would always say yes.
Because you both like Castles of Burgundy. Would you say you like this one more, or like how would you rate them between those 2 games?
I would pull this off the shelf.
If someone got those 2 games out and they said, which one?
This game is faster.
I think I'd pick this one.
This game is even fast with 4 people. And Castles of Burgundy is not fast.
Well, that's because you play all at the same time. You don't play at the same time.
If it's with 4, there's a lot of variables. But also for me, I'm very Cult of the New. And I'm just so into Guild of Merchant Explorers right now.
Yeah.
Where, like, if I think of a party game like Just One, that's all I wanted to play. Now, if I think of a party game, I just want to play Green Team Wins.
Yeah, whatever.
Which is like the newest one that came out. So Castle of Burgundy is, of course, one of the greatest games of all time. Also a Gamecaster's essential, by the way. And but I think if you ask me right now, I think I want to play Guild of Merchant Explorers.
You guys are gonna have to stop the podcast here because we're gonna get out. No. I do think it runs along those same lines though of like Castles of Burgundy. It's like it's gonna be a classic game. Even in like 10, 15 years, you'll be like, yeah, I still own that because it's like a super simple but classic, like, I don't know. It's such a good game.
Yeah, it's just feel good. It's a feel good game.
It's a good one.
All right, that's my number 3. Ryan, what is your number 3?
All right. So number 3 for me, I'm going TV and movies. Ooh. And so this one it's kind of it's not exactly a specific show. But what I'm going to do is I want to talk a lot about a show that you watch when you just want to kind of turn your brain off.
Oh, I know mine.
So every day at lunchtime, Natalie and I work from home. I'm in the basement. She's upstairs. And at lunchtime, we have an hour to just kind of meet in the middle on the main floor, make some lunch, and just turn our brains off.
So do you guys watch the same thing?
So we've been going through series of shows. So we had just gotten through Modern Family. Okay. And Modern Family is so funny. It was so good all the way through. And now we're going through a show called Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Have you guys heard of that one?
I've heard of it. I have not. I've seen like an episode or 2.
An episode here.
So I know
they're like police,
the,
aren't they?
But it's like it's like if The Office was police, kind of.
Yeah, so it's actually by Mike Schur, who is one of the creator guys of The Office and Parks and Rec.
That's what I always felt like. It's that feel, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the same kind of stuff. It's less. It's not like The Office I consider top tier. Parks and Rec's like right underneath. Brooklyn Nine-Nine's a little bit farther down. But
it's more
I
like
really am loving these kind of TV shows that we can just kind of like sit down, eat some food, and turn on and just watch and just go. And we've just been addicted to that stuff. We went right from Modern Family, which was like 10 seasons long, and we got through that in probably like a month or two, because just every single day we just watched like 2 or 3 episodes, and then now we're doing that with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And so it's just a really interesting mode that we're in. Like before I got your beam in the sky that said, Ryan, come on the Date Night Thrice episode, we were just in the middle of watching. Yeah, we were just watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine just on the TV. And we're actually coming to the end of that. So the reason I picked this for my number 3 is because I kind of wanted to ask the two of you, are there any shows like this that you guys watch that you just flip on whenever you're just like together and you want to watch TV? And if there are, I'm looking for a recommendation for what to do next.
I know what I would pick, and it's not what you're going to want.
What is it?
What is it?
That would be the Golden Girls.
Oh, the Golden Girls is really good.
Fucking hilarious.
I used to watch the Golden Girls like crazy when I would be homesick from school in like middle school.
And your grandma's watching.
I think I've seen more episodes of that than I care to reveal in public.
The Golden Girls is so fucking funny. And is so like comedy gold for its time. It's so good. Golden Girls is like I don't want to like actually pay attention, but I want something in the background.
Yes,
and, like,
that's what I'm talking
for
about.
me.
The Golden Girls. Okay.
I've probably watched every episode 10 times. Like I have
Shut up. You've seen it that much?
Oh yeah. Like I used to own all the DVDs. Like I know the Golden Girls, like 100%. So that would be my thing. And I've forced Ben to watch it quite enough that he knows the Golden Girls now at this point.
Oh, it's great. I had a great time.
So there are some scenes that you were like, God, that's so fucking good. And the fact that it's like 1985 and that like, man. So that would be like my one. I don't feel like I don't know of a newer one that I would necessarily recommend.
Oh, it doesn't have to be new, because a lot of the shows we watch are older. So maybe I'll take that recommendation to Natalie and see how she's
like, no,
I love Frasier.
So
Frasier's great.
Frasier's so good.
That's a great show.
I feel like our goofy shows were the Golden Girls, Frasier, and what's it called with Tool Time?
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement.
Thank you. I was like,
which
why
takes
didn't
place
I not think of
that
it?
takes place in Michigan.
Yeah,
it does. That's true.
Yeah.
But I feel like those are the classic, like, you don't have to pay attention. Oh my God, that was so good. You don't have to know the last episode. You do not have to pay attention.
That's what I'm looking for.
You will hit those, like, stupid, funny, like, and they're dumb. Let's be serious. They are not like...
That's what I want. Something dumb that you can just turn your brain off for an hour.
Oh my God, Frasier got handcuffed to a stripper in the other room. And so
Frasier is so funny.
You know what I mean? Like, is so dumb and stupid. But
have you guys seen
God, this is so
all
good.
the episodes of that show?
So Ben has not seen all of them.
There's one episode that's so funny. They're going... So it's this one scene I want to talk about. So they're in this car and they're going across the border somehow. And Daphne has to pretend like she's American, or else she thinks she's going to get deported back to England.
Okay.
And
I think I know which one you're talking about.
The only thing she can say in an American accent is sure. And so
and her voice is like 10 octaves deeper. She's like, sure. Like
so they get pulled over and the cop's like talking to her and he's like, what's going on? Is everything okay in here? And she's like, sure. Sure. All she can say in an American accent. It's like the funniest bit.
Oh my God.
The funniest bit that goes on like the entire episode.
It is like
that show's good.
Frasier is so ridiculous, which is why it's funny. Because it's a pretentious, rich douchebag who gets himself into the stupidest situations, and that's why you're like, man, I fucking love this. Like,
and did you guys ever watch the show that it spun off from?
Cheers?
From Cheers? I used to watch that when I was little.
Cheers is really good.
Which is so funny because I was probably like 6. Like, why was I watching Cheers?
Yeah.
But...
Like, I probably like Cheers now. Like, I would just want to go to the bar.
Cheers is good, too.
Cheers was good. Frasier, though. Frasier was so funny.
Could you imagine if I worked at home all day and then I go to the bar after I'm done working? And I like instead of on the bar, I leave my house.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
All right. What were you saying, though?
No, I was just going to say, we also would watch Everybody Loves Raymond. That show is so funny, too.
I really liked that show.
That show was really, really funny.
That show's good, too.
So all those kind of shows, that was my number 3. I wanted to talk about random bullshit shows that you can watch
Those are
at
good.
lunchtime. Turn your brain off.
Background noise, but
Yeah.
funny.
Golden Girls and Frasier are the two I'm going to take to
Man,
that.
Yeah.
Golden
next time.
Girls
We'll
is
see how
like
that
my
goes.
winner. They're so.
If you're asking
fuck.
us.
I am.
Yeah.
Love the Golden Girls.
That's what I
so
wanted to know.
much.
Thank you for
All
being
right,
a friend.
What? What's your number
You
3,
son of a
Emily?
bitch. Okay, my number 3 is a game. It's one that we played at New Year's and we played at Nerdfest, and it's Order Overload Cafe.
You said it right. Yeah.
Boy,
That's a tough-
I can
that's a
never remember
mouthful.
the name
That
of
is
it.
a mouthful.
An oink game.
So this game is essentially someone reads off a list of like the order,
Sure.
you know, as if you were in a cafe, and then you pass out the cards, and you have to go one by one saying what the order was. You have to try to remember, but you cannot say the cards that you got passed out.
And that's always
it-
the ones you can remember.
Always.
That's
100% of the time.
And it seems easy, right? You're like, yeah, I can remember like 12 things. That's not that bad. And it gets to you, and you're like, I don't fucking know, guys. Like, this could be anything.
Apple
Like,
pie. Yeah.
and if you get it wrong, you're out for guessing. You're still kind of in the game in some ways, but for that like round or whatever. But so Ben, I know you guys played without me on Saturday at the end of the night, and you guys got to the very end, like for your group,
we beat the game.
which I have never gotten that far.
no.
But it
That's
is
'cause
at that point
I'm
they're
trash
probably
at it.
saying off like 45 things. Like it's
Yeah.
insane.
Well, how many players did you guys have?
Because you guys had like
I
6 or
think
7,
we had
right?
6 that time.
And so you have
I
to
we
each
played
get what,
another
like
time with 7.
3 or 4.
We played another time with 7, and we ruled that with 7 is beyond the scope of the rule book.
Yeah.
And we ruled that 7 you would have to clear 4 hands of cards.
Which is everyone has what, 3 things? 3 or 4?
Well, it goes up each round. In the
It
first
goes
round,
up,
you have
yeah,
1. In
that's
the
true.
second round, you have
That's true.
2.
Right,
In
so
the
round 7 you have
last
7.
round 7, you have 7.
So insane.
7 times 7. We didn't beat
49.
7 times
Yikes.
7. We beat 7 times 6.
6.
That's
That's
still a
42.
crazy amount of cards. That's
Because-
42
okay,
cards.
so-
It was like half the deck.
And some of the things are normal, which you're like, yeah, we can get it. It's like OJ, apple juice, cafe latte, hot.
I like how you said OJ and apple juice.
What? I'm just naming out things.
Yep.
Hot coffee, but then it'll be like iced coffee without ice.
Fuck that.
I like hot coffee with like stupid shit. We were like
That's-
banana
I-
milk.
you know what?
Banana muffin.
like
Banana.
oh my god.
What I find where it
Milk
gets
crate.
tricky is when there's hot coffee,
Hot
banana
latte.
milk, hot coffee, hot
Yes.
latte, hot coffee.
And then you're like, how many
And you're
hot
like,
coffees?
okay,
I
and
don't
then
know.
when there's the guessing, you have a hot coffee in your hand, and
Oh,
somebody
God.
else guesses hot coffee, and you're like,
Was there a third?
was there a third or not?
Right, because you're out. if there's
Also-
not.
Well, there was 3 in the last round, but how many was there this round?
That's the other thing. It
I
changes
don't remember.
every round. But when someone reads off 40 items and you're like, I can remember a couple out of 40, you cannot. You
Nope.
cannot remember a couple
Nope.
out of 40. You can remember
No.
one.
You know,
and
they're all
guess what?
gone.
That one is in your hand.
You
Yep.
can
Cannot say it.
You can remember a couple out of 40 if you pop in the round of 40. But when you have played all the rounds up to there, you're
No.
like, I don't know what
And you're
is
like,
from what round.
banana
anymore.
muffin?
I'm
They're
so
like, that was
confused.
last round,
BM.
idiot. Like,
you just got to do it. You just got to do the initials.
as soon as you do
The initials are like, I do. BM.
That's so
HC.
dumb. That's not how you
HL.
do it.
Well, the
HC.
last time we
HL.
I would
played-
picture a hot ham and cheese sandwich would be a ham and cheese sandwich with flames above it. That's how
oh
I
my
would
God,
picture
you're
it in
doing
my
it in
mind.
such a different
No,
way.
HHCS, baby.
Shut up!
I would try to count. So the last time we played, I tried to
Damn
count
it, Ryan.
ice items on one hand and hot on the other. So if it was hot coffee, I would like try to put up a finger so that I could at least
Yeah.
look back and go, there were 5 hot items. And so if we had 3
That's a
already,
great idea.
I was like,
I'm doing that next
my
time.
best
That's a
guess
really
is
good
hot
idea.
coffee or hot ham and cheese, whatever, iced latte or whatever. So I could at least look back and go, okay, 3 iced lattes were said, and I'm like, iced coffee?
Ice something.
just
That's a
hoping.
great idea. Well,
And
you and me are the
so-
worst at this, I think,
Oh, we're
by
horrible.
far.
We're horrible.
So we got to do everything we
We
can.
look at each other and just go,
We're like,
"Fuck
you want to
this
be out
while we
first, or
ma-"
should I be out first?
Well, what we had to pull in a ringer. Wally jumped in
Oh
at
my
round
gosh.
like 6. He
But
having
he was
not
the
played
star,
it at all.
the star of the
just
show.
slotted in, and it was him. Everyone else was out. And he was just like, he was throwing them out.
Apple pie, cinnamon bun, like.
Wait, he's played.
Other...
I thought he played with us at Gen Con.
Maybe he's played before, but he was not in our game.
Yeah.
He just jumped in.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Ben, you got to talk about the mind meld that you had with Natalie.
Oh my gosh! I was like, okay, Natalie, before you guess, hold on, let's mind meld. We
Was she
closed
the
our
only
eyes.
one left?
Did you guys
We
hold
held hands.
It's me and Ryan just going fuck.
And it was. I think it was something complicated. It was like we did that.
Chocolate matcha.
We held hands. We closed eyes, and she goes
knows?
iced lemon tea, and I was like, yes, that's my only card.
And you guys kissed. You made out.
God, I wish.
That would have made the moment
You
so much
embraced.
better.
It would have been so much better for
her.
me.
So much better.
You would have been like, yuck,
Did a full dip. You get...
sick.
Oh
Yeah,
my
but for
God.
you, it would have been so.
It would have
much
been
better.
great
It would
for
have
me.
been so great for you.
Why
I
didn't
would
we
have
just
loved
dang it?
Damn it.
Oh my God.
I didn't.
Shit,
I
that was
didn't
my
draw
chance.
penises. You didn't kiss Natalie. God
Ah, damn.
we
The
both
weekend was ruined.
fucked
Shit.
up.
Well,
But
next
the other
Nerdfest.
thing in this game is you have like
Next Nerd
you next Nerdfest.
You
can
mind
we
meld with your
dip?
lips. Yeah. Yeah.
We need to
Let's
mind meld.
Yeah,
No,
hey,
we need to
we
be
gotta meld.
close.
We gotta meld. Get as close.
It's the only way. Trust me,
Straddle
it's
me.
worked before.
It starts forehead to forehead, but it ends lip.
The hand
to lip.
isn't doing it. The hand isn't doing it.
Sorry. It's not
Get
close
over
enough.
here. Straddle me.
Straddle. Come sit on me here.
Come sit. Yeah.
No, but they also have like specials where it's like, say the first letter of the last card you
nobody
have or
uses
something.
any of those.
No one
Those
ever
suck.
uses them
They
because
do
it's
suck.
always, what's the last letter of your cards? And you're like,
They're always E. It's E every.
And so you're
fucking
like, so it
time.
could be anything. It could be coffee. It could be like, it could be latte. It could be juice. Anything. Ice. So those hardly ever help. But that game is so much fun, even though I suck at it.
Yeah,
like
same.
Ryan said, we're horrible.
We're bad. We're
But
very
it's
bad.
so much
You got to
fun.
build your memory
It's
palace.
so much fun for me to go, I got this, and this, and this. And then someone says something new, and I'm like,
Right.
OJ. And then at the end, I go, oh shit, I just have OJ. And then I get dealt OJ. So
See, you're
I'm
using
done.
the initial method exactly.
That's the way it goes.
It was
the best
so
way.
funny when we
OJ.
were
It's funny
playing.
because you did that, and then that's how I remembered
AC,
things for a little while.
AP,
We were playing with Janelle and oh shoot, what's Janelle's husband's name?
Jason.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so Jason's like, he was like, I don't know what to say, and then he went, oh, and he was like, I forgot to open up the fridge, and he was like, there's all kinds of juices in
like,
here.
"There's
He's like,
juice."
orange juice, and the next time it comes around, he's like, apple juice.
juice.
He was like, I
getting
totally
them.
forgot about all these juices.
He's like, the
He was right.
juices.
yeah.
Lemonade. And we're like,
He was
holy
like,
shit.
he tripped right
Yeah.
over these cinnamon rolls. They
All
were in his
this-
memory palace.
Tripped over them.
all the stuff that comes out of the game that literally just has drinks and desserts on cards.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
that's it.
It's kind of magic.
I would love to play
You know.
with like an actual server, like someone who does this
someone
for
that
a
works
job.
or someone that
They-
works at Starbucks.
They would probably be like, yeah, I got all
Easy.
the orders. I don't understand the
Like,
issue.
shut up, losers.
But clearly,
Right.
I should not work in food because I cannot remember anything. So, but it's so much fun. And I don't know. This game is
It's a
just
great game.
And it's like the size of little business cards. It's a teeny tiny game, you know, like it's easy to travel with, and I love it. So that's my number 3.
All right, Em, thanks.
That's a
All
good
right,
one.
it's time for our number 2. My number 2 is a board game that I played for the first time at Nerdfest. It is called Kali Mala.
All right.
Dun, 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 dun. I
Jeff-
don't know
Jeff
this
talks
game,
about this
so
one
I
all the time.
cannot,
He loves
I
it.
cannot.
Cloth
Say anything.
merchants compete for majorities using a unique action selection system.
As
That
is tradition.
You just said that, right?
That's
It's
the
not
BGG,
one-liner. That's the BGG one-liner.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
not just yours.
Ranked 7.2 on Board Game Geek. Its overall rank is 1,334. That's
That's pretty
Not
good.
bad.
I don't know
pretty
anymore.
good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
2017 Stronghold Games.
Okay.
This is theme-wise. We're going to talk about it for a second, then we're going to ignore it. It is classic trading in the Mediterranean.
Oh, boy.
It's so funny.
I love how
It's
there's
so-
there's only so many. It's like you're a like wilderness in Germany. Like there's only so many things And I love how this is one of those.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is like I don't even have a lot of trading in the Mediterranean games.
You know.
Concordia.
You know.
Do you have
What's it
Istanbul?
called?
I don't have Istanbul.
No, we don't have that, but
I don't have that many.
how about Century Spice? Century Spice.
Yeah, there
that's
you go.
loosely
There you go.
right.
That's
okay.
not loosely. That
Anyway,
is.
this game, you are trying to deliver your cubes, which are all your color, to different cities that are on a board. So the board has like a map area, and some of the cities you get to through sailing. Some of the cities you get to through wagons, and some of the cities you like put other resources in than cloth. All right.
Okay.
So there's sort of these like majority areas of the board. And in the upper left of the board is the order that all these things are going to score in. So the tiles up there are for each of the cities, or they'll be like all cities that you sail to, or all cities that you wagon to, or like wood in the cities where you can send wood. And they're all going to score in a certain order. So you know the order that everything's going to score. It's up there on the board. And then at the beginning of the game, you get dealt 2 cards. They match those scoring tiles, but they're going to score again at the end of the game. You keep one of those, and you keep it secret. So you know another one of the things on the board is going to score again. You might not necessarily win it. You just know that you're going to score that place again. Then the way you play the game is there is a 3x3 grid of 9 actions, and the center one is fixed, but the outside 8 tiles of the 3x3 grid are shuffled up and dealt out. So that helps with variability, because the way you do actions in the game is you take your little disc and you put it in between 2 of the tiles. So you're going to do both of the actions. But the actions that are paired up is different every game. And so the kind of actions, the kind of actions that you do are going to be like produce cloth, or produce wood, produce clay, or deliver using ships, deliver using wagons, or build, which you can, when you do the build action, you can build a ship, you can build a trade house, which allows you to use wagons, or you can build more storage areas for cloth. So that when you produce cloth, you produce 1 cloth per storage thing that you have. And so you select what you're going to do. Like, I need wood so I can build more ships or whatever. Like, at the beginning of the game, you don't really have anything. You don't have any way to ship, so you're going to have to get wood so you can build ships, so you can ship it, so you can put stuff here, so that when those cities score, you have majority there and you score the points. Because the points are like 5, 3, 1.
Right.
You know, you score.
Sure.
So you put your disc down in between 2. Now, the next person goes. They put their disc down. All right? They do 2 actions, the 2 that they're in between. Somebody else wants to do the same thing you did. They put their disc on top of yours. They do those 2 actions. Then it goes to the disc under them. Whosever disc that is does those 2 actions also. And that's the thing about this game.
The following.
Because I might really bad want to produce cloth and ship. Those 2 things are connected, let's say. But I look over at Bill's board, and it's going to be way better for him to do those 2 actions. And his disc is in there. And not only is his disc in there, he put his disc on top of his own disc.
So he's going to go twice.
If I do this, I get to do it once, and he gets to do it twice. And it's way better for him. So I guess I'm not going to do that action.
Wow.
And that is the game. That is the game. When the 4th disc gets put onto a stack, the bottom one gets kicked out, and it triggers the next scoring tile. Okay?
Oh, okay.
And so then you score this city, or you score all sailing cities, or you score all wagon cities, or whatever. Then the tiebreaker is the discs that have been kicked out. So later in the game, when your discs have been kicked up to the scoring tiles, and all of a sudden you're tied with somebody, that's the tiebreaker. Because here's the thing. You have white discs, which are not your color. When you place a white disc, you will do an action. You will double it. So you'll do each action twice. However, it is now colorless, so it doesn't get triggered when things are put on top of it. And when it gets kicked out, it's not your color either.
So it doesn't help you for tiebreaker.
It gets to put a disc up for the tiebreaker. And it's like, it takes a game that it seems so simple on the surface, right? Here's the actions. You're doing this like very straightforward stuff. There's not a long chain of resources to points. It's like, I just need this to build some ships, to put some stuff here. All the points are area majority.
Okay. Are you about to sneeze?
I have to sneeze.
Okay. I'm like, you either have to sneeze or something smells real bad.
I have to sneeze, so it keeps like tickling. I can't.
But the game is completely about like, I need to do this action, and then wait a second. Let me look at everybody else's boards because I don't know if I want to do this.
Right. Do I want to do it?
Oh my gosh, I don't think I should do this. And like the funny thing was, so like what I got dealt in the beginning of the game for my card that's going to score that only I know about was the first space that's going to score.
Oh man.
And that got triggered before anybody even had anything there. It got triggered, everybody scored 0, and now only I know that at the end of the game, that city is going to score again. So right before the end of the game, I stuck a cube over there.
Sure.
You
Like,
sneaky bitch.
and needlessly, and I got 5 points out of that.
Nice. And no one
It
else
was
got
awesome.
It. Yeah.
This game is great, but I think it's only great at 4 or 5. We played it at 4.
Okay.
But 4 or 5 players. I don't.
Larger.
It has to be that there's lots of discs all over there, and you're really worried about what you're going to trigger for everybody else every time you place a disc. That's the game. That's 100% the game.
Yeah,
but you
does
liked
not
it.
sound like 2-player.
Oh, it's fantastic. I loved it. I had a wonderful time. It was just like weird and different enough that it was different in that every time you wanted to do something, you had to consider how that would affect everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. There aren't a lot of games. There are games where you're interacting with other people where you're either hurting or helping, or they took your spot, the worker placement spot's gone or whatever. But it is not very often that you have to stop and think, if I want to do this, how much does it help somebody else? There are games where that happens.
So then you're making suboptimal
much.
moves for you, but it can hopefully
enough?
advantage you more than someone else.
Exactly,
Even though it's not
because
the number one thing you wanted.
the best thing
That's
is
weird.
not is the best thing for you is not necessarily to make your empire as powerful as it could be, but it is to do the action that will help you more than it helps the other players.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's how you at the end of the game, nobody has like built something like incredibly. You haven't built some super powerful engine. You have managed the actions in a way that made you get helped a little bit more than everybody else.
So who won?
I did.
Oh, we're talking
Nice.
to a profesh.
No wonder it's number 2.
No kidding. Well, I mean, we played Heaven and Ale with essentially the
Oh my
same group,
God.
and I got almost 0 points. So
I did so bad at that. I did so bad.
Actually, what you don't know either is you played with Jeff and Bill
Yep.
and Mr. Measles.
and Mr. Measles.
All 3 of those guys, especially Jeff and Bill. I haven't played as many games. I played a ton of games with Kevin, but not as many as Jeff and Bill. Jeff and Bill rarely lose. If the 2 of them are in a game together,
Those douchebags.
one of the 2 of those is usually winning. Yeah, it was
bitches.
well, we used to all be in this game group together until I moved out to where I live now. Every week we'd play games together. And it got to the point where it was a little defeating, where I'm always getting at once in a while I'd get second or first, but
like,
most of the
even if
time
you do
I'm third
good.
or less.
Yeah.
And it's like, God, these guys, they're just so good at games. Those 2, they're just really good at everything, seeing strategies. And the first time they play something, they're just really good at stuff like that. So, and Kevin is a similar way. He is just very, very good. So you winning against that group on your first play, and they've all played before. Maybe not Kevin, but Bill and Jeff have played before. That's a mighty feat.
Well, and I think that's why I had so much fun. I like that environment. I like sitting down and there's like very capable players playing all out, and it's like, man, I gotta bring my A game here.
Yeah, you gotta try.
I like that. I like this. Like, this is serious, and we got to get. And sometimes I fall flat on my face, like having a nail. I absolutely collapsed. I did.
You try your hardest, and it just doesn't work.
It just did so bad
at that. It's so bad. Also,
but, you know, I like, because Nerdfest was this mixture of like, let's get serious and play a serious game, and then let's like go play Cafe Order Overload or whatever.
Yep. But and your experiences with both are probably just as fun, just for different reasons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Oh man.
All right, Ryan, what's your number?
All right,
two?
well, number 2 for me. So I'm going to video games here. So I have this Steam Deck. Okay, me and Ben talked about this a lot.
Steam
Went
Deck.
back when I was like, I'm just gonna do it, man. I'm gonna buy it. Yeah, we got the Steam Deck, and I play it all the time. It's my hobby.
Love
and
That's his hobby, the Steam Deck.
and so I'm in this mode right now, and it kind of folds in with my number 3, where I'm looking for a TV show to just kind of turn my brain off. I'm also always looking for a video game to do a similar thing.
Yes.
I have some issues like getting to sleep a lot, and I found that a game that I can just kind of shut my brain off to really helps kind of get me tired and stuff. And so this game that I found is this really cute little game that is maybe the most difficult game I've ever played. And it's I don't know, Ben, you have to help me with this. I don't know if it's roguelite. I don't know. It's called Spelunky.
I think it's a rogue-like. You do not gain improvements in between, right?
Correct. You do not gain improvements in between.
That would be a rogue-like.
Okay, so it's a rogue-like.
If you say it fast, nobody knows.
A roguelike. Yeah, who cares? Nobody knows. Basically, what happens is there is this procedurally generated level system where every time you play, there's like 4 different worlds. Okay, and so basically, you're just this guy spelunking. You're going into a cave system, and you're trying to find your way out to get to. The goal is to get to the end of this cave system. Right, every level.
Like,
I don't know. I haven't made it that far because it's so fucking hard. Every level, you're just trying to get from point A to point B. That's literally what you're trying to do. Point A to point B. If you can manage to rescue this damsel in between, she'll give you a bonus health. There's also like a statue to find, and that'll give you money. There's shops sometimes randomly in the levels, because the levels are all procedurally generated, so you'll never play the same level twice exactly, because the game just kind of sets the levels.
I was looking it up quick so I could see what it looked like.
Yeah, it's really
very
cute.
Like cute.
Yeah,
like,
it's really
almost
simple.
like Mario, simple.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's like it's got platforming elements, right? So you're jumping around and you're using a whip to fight enemies. Yeah, you got bombs that you can explode the landscape to get further. You got these ropes you can use to climb and ascend and descend. And it just looks so simple. And I thought it was really simple. I'm like, this is going to be a nice, fun little game. It is the hardest game I think I've ever played in my entire life.
This reminds me, from the looks too, of Chariot, Ben.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Chariot. It kind of looks
like it in the side scroll little. You're jumping around and doing and obviously I haven't played this one, but I know what you mean when you're like, oh, it looks so cute. And then you're like, motherfucker, during the whole game.
Yeah, Spelunky's way harder. Spelunky's so hard.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. So it's the game. It's this game where you'll get so each world has 4 levels. Okay. And there's only 4 worlds. There's only 16 levels. And then I think
just get to the end of it.
And then I think
but you're like, oh, easy peasy.
And it's done. Right, easy peasy. I don't think I beat the first world, which is the first 4 levels, for I don't know 5-6 days, and I played it for an hour or more at a time, and each run will last maybe 2 minutes. You can get from point A to point B in 20 seconds, and you'll die.
So you're just again.
Yeah. You just hit the button and it just resets back to 0. So it always, no matter what happens, will reset you back to the very, very, very beginning. So you'll play level 1, you'll get all the way to world 3, level 5, level 4. You'll die there. You got to start all the way back at level 1 until there are these things you can find that will let you start on world 2. Okay. But it doesn't count. Like you can't get a high score. Who gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
So I've made it far enough into the game where I can start now on World 3. I can start on World 3.
Fancy,
And
bitch.
Emily, I've been playing this, being able to start on World 3 for a week. I can beat World 3 almost easily. I can't beat the first 5 seconds of World 4 without dying.
What the hell?
It is the hardest game, but it's okay. But it's exactly what I was looking for. If you're looking for a game that you can just get lost in and just go over and over like a Super Meat Boy.
But do you play this in your sleep? You ever have games where you play in your sleep?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I see it in my dreams. You go to bed
and you're like, and then you wake up and you're like, I just played it all night in my dreams.
I was the damsel who was just like stuck, like, help me.
And you just sit there all night being like, did I even fall asleep? Like, does it bother you in that way?
No, luckily it's like it's weirdly soothing.
Okay.
It's because you almost go in expecting to die over and over and over and over, and you will. And then the fun is like this time. And every run, you're like, all right. Because every run, you'll die. It's like 2 minutes.
This is the one.
Yeah, okay, this time is going to happen.
This is the one.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
This is the one.
So, Ben, have you played Spelunky?
Yes, actually, Emily's played Spelunky, though she probably doesn't remember. The multiplayer is that the camera follows the first player, and the second player has to keep up. It's a really hard way to play two-player.
I bet I was like, nope.
Damn, that sounds crazy.
So yeah, you only have like the camera is not
remember.
He's not paying any attention to the second player. They just have to sort of like stay on screen.
That's very wise.
I have not played it enough to sort of like get past the second one's the ice one, right?
That's the third one.
Oh, that's the third one.
The second one is like you're like almost like a jungle setting, and that I think is the hardest. That's the hardest one.
I don't know how much I've played of it because I've also watched a bunch of videos about it and I'm getting them confused in my head. I know I'm not very good at it. I played that game before I had played stuff like Rogue Legacy or Hades or some of these like other games where I was willing to invest and learn them. And come back and like I'm gonna learn how to play this game, like the way I did like Elden Ring or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I played it. I bounced off of it right away. I was like, this is too hard.
It's so hard, but for some reason, like I said, it's so simple that it's really fun to just over and over and over and over and over. It kind of like a game like what's that vampire game? Ben, have you played that one where you're just walking around and your player is constantly shooting stuff from it?
I have not. I don't know. I haven't played that. I don't know.
It's really fun. It's a very similar kind of thing where it's just easy to rack it again, and I'm really excited about a game like that after coming off of something like Elden Ring, which is just heavy and
that's like
also really challenging, but it's like it's like really heavy on
I had a lot of fun I went from Elden Ring to Rogue Legacy 2, which was just like do a run, die, boom, start over, do a run, die, and I was like, yeah, this is great. Like
feels good.
Let me just like hit it, and then I got far enough into the game where runs were taking really long, and then I was like, I kind of put it down for a little bit.
Yeah, now it's not as fun anymore. Well, luckily that'll never happen to you in Spelunky. I've probably died 350 times.
Right.
It's like, okay, the second when we wrap this up, I'm probably gonna go play it for another hour. So that's my number 2. That's my number 2 of the month, Spelunky. It's really, really fun game. It's cheap enough if you're in, and there's a sequel too. If you're into just absolutely just dying over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Check it out.
I was going to ask about more than one player, but like you said, Ben, the camera follows player one.
Correct.
Yeah, I see that there's
two-player,
you can play up to 4-player, I think, on the Switch.
I cannot imagine. I guess that's like hope that one of us survives and you all just like run for it.
Yeah, but it's not a game I think I would ever want to play multiplayer. I don't think.
Is that Natalie? Is that Natalie?
It was Natalie. Do you want to see her? Natalie, come down.
Natalie.
I see her shadow.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much.
Town.
Emily, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is, I think we played this over the holiday break.
Oh, look, there's Natalie.
Hey, there's Natalie.
She can't hear
us.
She can't hear us. I know.
She can't hear us being like,
oh.
What the fuck? Fuck you.
We said, fuck you.
She can't hear us talking about how we were supposed to be kissing while we were mind melding.
Yeah, she didn't hear that. She didn't hear you and her kissing.
how Ben mind melds really good later.
Next year, you're gonna have to. There's some things you're gonna have to do. I think.
I'm sorry.
You're
It's
gonna
necessary.
have
Dang,
You're
darn
gonna
it!
have to take one for the
Shoot.
team, Natalie.
Sorry. Ah, man. If there was
Dang,
any
what a
other
shame.
way, if there was any other
There's
way,
no other way to win the game. You're gonna have to
It's
do
the
it.
worst.
She's like, I don't want to do this. My number two, I was gonna say our number two, it was a game that was sent to us. But okay, so in the past we've gotten games that people want to send that you're like, I'm just trying to be nice. I don't enjoy this kind of game. Now this one they said, hey, would you mind if we sent this to you? And it was the Hunt-A-Killer games, which are essentially like an unlock and exit. Exactly there.
I happen to have it right here.
Look at that.
This is the one we got.
Man, we did not get that one.
This is ours
too. And so when they said it, I was like, yeah, because I love like mystery games, solving the mystery, the murder, whatever. And so I've always wanted to try these games and I just haven't.
Same.
So we got the one that was the Nancy Drew Mystery at Magnolia Gardens. And so, I mean, it's just like any other mystery game. For this one, you have to find out. I'm trying to see exactly where it says because I didn't want to like say it wrong or whatever. But you have to find like why the thing happened, the means, who did it. Like they kind of explain it all to you. But unlike an unlock or exit, you have all the information right away. So it's not like solving puzzles and getting to the next puzzle. It is like, here's everything. Solve the mystery.
Figure it out.
Yeah. But like it was great quality when it came to like the papers, and there was like a little box with like an actual metal box with a little lock on it. And there's like actual objects where you're like, we have to figure out like what happened here, or like what's the code to the lockbox is going to give you another little thing. It was super fun. I don't know how long it took us, like between 1 to 2 hours, would you say?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like when we weren't in a rush.
We weren't.
So
Do you remember
2 hours.
what the difficulty was?
I think ours is the same. It was 2 out of 5.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because you've played Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective.
God, I love
right?
that game. Yeah.
So you know how
I
that
love
sort of
that
like
game.
presents the case, and then it's like
Go on leads.
follow
Yeah.
the leads.
Yeah, it's kind of like
This
that.
is the same way. It's you open it up, and maybe there's like a little bit of a primer, and then there's just instead of where an exit or an unlock is leading you through a sort of somewhat linear thing. You're on this puzzle, you're on this puzzle, you're on this puzzle. It was like, here's all the content, piece it together. And there definitely was a time where we were like, oh, I think we've figured out how to open up that pencil box, the lock on the pencil box. We finally found the thing that does that. And we opened it up, and it's like, yep, okay, that's confirming some of the
cool.
suspicions that we had based on reading all the other stuff.
Yeah, because it has like all the people, and on the back, like all their information. You know, it is a very like Sherlock scenario, but
It's not as
I don't know. It was
like,
fun though.
It wasn't like puzzly in the way that an exit is.
No,
it wasn't like
not at all.
like an escape room sort of thing. It
I
was
did not-
more like, let's read all the stuff.
Yeah.
And then we'll recreate what happened in our minds, and as long as we all agree, then we'll pop open the end game thing and see if we were right or not.
Did you guys ever play Detective, the modern crime board game? It's similar. That sounds similar to this.
Yeah,
Okay.
You might
it was
like
very
that
much
one a
that
lot.
style though.
Yeah, it's like real, actual crime, not just solve the
not
puzzles.
like goofy puzzles,
But like
yeah.
a crime has been committed, now go solve it. Yeah.
Like here's all the info. Yeah, but it was really fun, and like the quality of the game was really good considering like the price tag. I think our game, if you bought it, is like $30, but like the quality of all the stuff and the fact that you like you have this like metal pencil box and the lock and like
That's so cool.
all the papers. Like it's cool to keep that stuff after too. But it
Or
was
you could put
super
it back
fun.
together. We didn't
You
have to
could.
destroy anything. Like you could piece
You
it back
could pass
together
it
and give it to
along.
somebody else.
Yeah.
And these are all
you
at
don't have to
Target,
like
right?
you don't have to cut anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're at like Target or Barnes and Noble. But it was really fun. Where now I'm like, well, I'm gonna try from the same brand, but like a harder one. So
Why don't we do
we
Body
should
on the
pass
Boardwalk
along.
together? Why don't we do this together next time we get together? Why don't we all do
perfect.
this one?
Why don't
Sounds
we?
good.
Yeah, that's going to be
I
on the docket. We'll save this
love-
for hanging out with you guys.
Like I always love these kind of games, And so I always like unlocks and exits, but the problem is half the time exits, you're like, that was the answer. Like at the end when you found some clue and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? And it's some joke of a like, oh, did you not keep your receipt because the code on the receipt? And you're like, are you kidding me? But then some answers are like, if you fold the paper, it's right there. And it's like, where you're like, I don't know how hard or how simple or what.
Right.
Where this one was just a mystery happened. Here's the information. Go for it and solve it.
How many people can
but
play
I really
this?
liked it.
I don't as many as you are willing to share the components with.
Because like I wonder how. So we like to play a lot of these kinds of games. Like Natalie and I will play these. If we play them alone, we suck. We usually, if we play with Jeff and Devin, it's great. So we went through that game Detective with Jeff and Devin, and it was the most. It was like the most fun experience ever. Playing with two was fun, but so if like the six of us get together, I wonder if the six of us could do this together, and if it would still be a good time.
You could, because you could break off into little groups and be like, hey, we're gonna go look at these
People
handouts, this information. We're gonna try to piece together what this guy was doing, and you could kind of do that in little groups, and then come back and be like, all right,
you find out?
You didn't and then you wouldn't have to read that whole thing. We could just come back and be like, okay, this guy was in this place at these times. Where was your guy at those times? And you'd be like, okay, now this is making sense.
That's cool. Yeah, we should do that. That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be great.
That. Yeah, the only thing I would say is if you don't like a ton of reading, because there is a lot of reading. Like on the back of every person's picture is like a whole thing about them. So if you don't like the reading portion and you'd rather have the small puzzles, like it's not for you. But I don't know. I thought it was really fun. I liked it a lot. So.
Sweet.
Excellent choice. You know what time it is? It's time for our number one.
Number one.
My number one is another tabletop category.
Yes.
I'm tabletop all the way.
All the way.
My number
Across
one for this month is, and it has to be, Nerdfest.
Yeah, baby.
Absolutely.
I was like, what could it be?
Let's fuse them, because that's also my number one. So let's fuse.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, we're fused together. We are fusing.
Yeah, we're like Siamese twinning.
I almost did that, and I was like, well, I don't want to just do. I could have fused.
You could have fused.
Yeah, we can all fuse. It feels so good to fuse, three of us.
I've rarely gone to an event and come out of it so energized, so positive, and so happy about my experience. I had a wonderful time at Gen Con last year, but I look at that I look back on Gen Con positively. On the drive home, I was like, I'm tired. Are we going to do this again? I don't know. There was pluses and minuses, whatever. Anytime I've ever gone to anything anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm always like...
Ben's a very negative person when it comes to that. So
I get it. I'm similar. I'm the same way.
And when I
hate everything.
Welcome to the club.
When I was driving home from Nerdfest, I was like, I want to be there on Sunday too. I want to be hanging out with everybody because I had such a great time with the people that were at that event. Hanging out with the people I know. You know, you and Natalie and Sam and our friends Jeff and seeing Joe, and then getting to meet more people like Bill, like Mick, and a bunch of other people that were there. It's just like there was like an energy level that I just loved. I had such a good time. And, like you said earlier, I said Saturday was like a party because I could have been doing anything. I could have been doing any event.
Right.
And the thing was, it was not the games. It wasn't the games or playing games that was bringing me there.
Was so funny.
It was the event itself that was fun. And then regardless of what activity I was doing at it, I was having a good time.
Yeah.
And so
that's so good.
It just that speaks to the company, the people, and for something that turned out to be so much bigger than you anticipated and bigger than I anticipated. And to still have that sort of energy, I felt so good about my experience. I had a great time. I loved meeting everybody, getting to meet like Janelle in person. Like that was great. All these people I've only ever met online.
Right.
Yeah, that is funny.
Them.
And they're all so awesome in person, aren't they? Like,
yes.
You think they're really cool. Like, there was a bunch of people in our Discord that I met that I haven't met before. I don't know if you got to meet Ta or Plurpy.
Yep.
people like that, and
Yeah.
they're just like even better somehow in person. You know, a lot of times you meet people in real life and they let you down. You're like, you're just a fucking weirdo or something like that. Every single person that I met at Nerdfest was 10, like Peter, for instance, like Nuclear Knight Peter, right? 10 times better even. And I love him,
Yeah,
you know,
everyone
on
was super nice.
Slurpee is one of like the best guys. Like, and then you meet him in person, you're like, God, you're even cooler. You're like it's that much better. And yeah, so one of the things I talked about this before, and I'm not going to cut you off, Ben, because this is kind of your time here to talk about it. But
well, we overlapped. It's our time.
We're fusing. We talked about the party. That you said it was a party, but the thing that I took away that I thought was the best compliment that you gave to Nerdfest, and it's totally true and accurate, was when you said it didn't feel like it was the first time. It felt like we were all coming back together again.
That is true.
And I thought that was the greatest. That was like the coolest thing that you said. Because after you said it, I was like, you know what? He's totally right. That is what it felt like, especially Saturday night. If I had to isolate one moment personally, the Tumbling Dice tournament was the whole, not even necessarily Tumbling Dice, but that time of the whole event was magical. Kind of.
No, yeah.
That was so much
Tumbling
fun,
dice, whatever. There was an excuse for everybody to be up,
you guys, I was
to be
doing
mingling,
I was doing
to be
good.
and there was the energy
it.
level. But everyone was sort of like at that energy level of like, I just am happy to be here with everybody.
Well, that is the thing though. Like, you know, we knew a couple people, then we knew of people that maybe we've kind of talked to online and this and that. But then when the Tumbling Dice thing happened, like how you said, Ben, it feels like we're all coming back together to hang out. Like all of a sudden it was like, okay, you four together, you four, whatever. And whoever I was with, it was like we had been friends where we're all like, you guys ready? And like we're all just hanging out where we're like, oh shit, like to each other. And like when you're not, you know, or whatever. And then you switch groups and all of a sudden you're like, hey, what's up? I guess we're best friends. And then you're all of a sudden doing like the next thing where like everybody was just having a blast. Like,
and I wonder if part of that was because it was the first time. So nobody had like a leg up on anyone else. You know, everybody was experiencing this thing together. And maybe that part of that brought everyone closer, you know, because everybody was experiencing it for the first time. You know, people like Curtis. If you remember Curtis, he's the giant. Giant of a man, right?
We all
awesome
know the
guy.
giant.
Yeah, we played Skull King with Curtis.
We played Skull King with him.
And I think, wasn't he in your Order Overload game?
Yeah, the one that we won.
The one that you guys won,
Now, I don't know if you've seen the Discord, but after he got home, he's building his own Tumbling Dice board.
Whoa,
and he's
cool.
got pictures in the Discord of him creating it out of wood, you know, like building it, which is cool. And so it's so cool the way that happened. There was like 60 people in that tournament. Emily was crushing it. You were just advancing.
So good.
Same with Sam. Sam made it to the finals.
I know. Sam did so good. Where I was like, maybe one of us are gonna win this.
Yeah, you guys might win this.
Oh man, that was so much fun though. It was just great. Yeah.
I just the we played games and I could list them off and I just don't even care because that's not what sticks out in my mind. What sticks out of my mind is like our session of Heaven and Ale where we were all smoking pretzel rods and like acting like Heaven and Ale was something that's exciting. That was
so
and
funny.
And if you act it enough, it becomes exciting, and
absolutely, people make it fun.
Sitting around talking to Dave about his D&D one shot he was running and all the other stuff, and I just like there was a lot of people that I got to meet that it just was like we just hit it off, and that's what sticks out in my mind, you know.
Well, like I love Amanda and Wally came with their youngest, who she's like was she 3 months old?
3 months, maybe.
Like
I think
right
that's
about
what
that.
Yeah. Yep. Clara.
So little baby Clara, and the funny thing was like it was like everyone in the room was on the same page because at any moment you could
she was
look
just
around,
passed around,
and someone else had the baby, and they're like being good with her. They're being careful. Someone's holding her, or someone's feeding
That's a
her or
good
whatever.
point.
And like you'd look over and it'd be like Ben's holding the baby and talking to Sam, and then you look over and it's like someone else has the baby and they're talking to someone else.
Right.
And then you look
Jen
over
had
and
the
someone
baby.
else
She's
is
at
like
registration. Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I think the baby's hungry, and they're like bottles in the back. Like it was like we were all babysitting at the same time as we're all playing games, as we're all like, it was so. First of all, that baby was effing adorable.
Oh my gosh,
say
she's
that
cute.
right now.
She was so good.
I was gonna say the
Incredibly
best baby on
well-behaved.
earth. It was insane. Like well-behaved sounds like they like
Well-behaved.
disciplined her.
Right.
She was so
Like, they talked to her
easygoing.
beforehand.
Yeah,
You better
like,
not
they were like,
fucking,
so
like, ruin
you
this.
can't
Don't
fucking
ruin
do
this for us.
Better not ruin
Like
this.
we brought you here. Don't ruin. This
You
is
should
your
be
chance.
grateful. Yeah.
This is your
Oh
chance.
my
But it
God.
was just so funny that like it was a giant room of people, and it was like we're all on the same page of like playing games, passing around a baby, hanging out. Like we're all just like there was no question about it, and that
Yeah.
I don't know, it was just awesome.
For me, it was. Oh, go ahead, Ben. No, go ahead.
No, please.
I was just gonna say it was so throwing this thing and watching it happen and unfold and seeing everybody, and there was people that like it was this crazy good mix of people I knew and people I didn't know. You know, there was probably 50 people there that I, at throughout the weekend that I knew. And we had a couple game designers there, like a friend of
that
mine,
was
Matt
cool,
Riddle, was cool. Him and all his guys were there, and
Yeah.
David McGregor was there. He gave me a copy of Dinosaur World, was really cool.
Oh,
And
cool.
anyway, so like I knew like a bunch of those people and all you guys and my friends, and then there was like the same or like 50 or 60% more people that I didn't know.
Mhm.
And watching them, a lot of them would come up to me afterward and just be like, wow, like there was this one guy specifically, his name was Mark, and I remember him because Bill came up to me right after he showed up. He started walking around. Bill comes up to me and he's like, I see that guy at every convention I've ever gone to for like 10
Whoa,
years.
really?
He's all over the place. And I was like, really? How the hell do you know about this?
Yeah.
So he came up to me at some point because he made it pretty far in Tumbling Dice too. He was this kind of like thinner, like older guy. He wasn't older like in his 70s, but he was probably like in his 50s, right? And he was he made it pretty far in the Tumbling Dice tournament. And I remember after it was over, he came up to me and he was like, I got to hand it. I got to tell you, he's like, I go to a ton of conventions. He's like, you would never have thought that this was the first time you put this on. He's like, all the stuff here. He's like, the events you have, the vendors, even the little library, the atmosphere in here feels like this is some hidden gem that, I just found for the first time. And I heard comments like that
That's
lot.
awesome.
And it was like, I was on cloud 9 the entire from Friday to Sunday, just like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened. Like me and Natalie would look at each other, we're like, how did we do this? But we did this. This is like, I had this idea and now it happened and everyone seems so happy. And, there was people that were like, I can't wait till next year. What next year you should do this, or next year we're going to do it like this, not just like, is there a
Should we,
next
like,
year?
Lathe little nerd fest people.
Lathe.
I'll make the trophy next year for
little
Tumbling Dice.
trophies, and they'll be just like the worst things they've ever seen. And we're like, you better enjoy
You have
that,
to take this home.
and you have to take it home at this point.
We had a mini painter. Her name was Jamie, and she taught some mini painting classes. And she was like, this was so great for me. I can't wait to come back for next year.
Ben.
There's Ben's. Actually, that turned out to this mini here turned out to be the winning mini for Ben. He won a copy of Mosaic on the heels of this mini.
This mini.
I
this
just love
miniature
that,
wins
like,
him
Ryan
as a
approved
joke.
of my mini and got me into the drawing.
But like as a joke,
Then he
Sunday
wins.
morning, you guys were like, "Hey, if you guys win, we'll have to next time we see you." And we're like, "Hey, yeah, I'm
Yep.
sure." And then as soon as we pulled in the driveway, there was a text from Natalie that was like, "You
Guess
won!" Like,
what?
Look at this.
whoa, look at that.
What game
I
is
love
that you're
about-
playing?
Wizards of the Grimoire.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's a 2-player. It's really good.
it is
I
a
think
really
that
good
was
game.
actually me right behind her.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think I was playing Batman Love Letter right after that.
You were. I think you're right. I think you're playing Batman. There you are, back there.
Right over her right
for that
shoulder.
one, I said, "Hey, take a picture of me having so much fun." We set this one. Take a picture of me having
so
a
genuine.
blast, right? I bet you thought that.
No, but a lot of time I was
awesome,
like wondering, not you guys specifically, but also you guys, just the whole time, like, what are these people thinking? What is everybody actually thinking? And it was really on Saturday during the Tumbling Dice tournament when I was kind of like, everyone's having a blast. There's no way people are not having fun.
No,
right now.
It was,
what I mean?
Here we go, Tumbling Dice.
Oh, you got some pictures of it. There it is. There's the measles in every picture.
Yeah, what's that about?
How is he always there? There he
He's
is.
always
He's
there.
everywhere. He's everywhere.
Well, I really enjoyed during the tournament too. I was like, I'm on my drink, and CP Wilson, as well, call him. He was like, "What do you need?" And I was like, "There's a gray cooler in back," and I'm like giving him instructions
how to get your drink.
I can't leave the tournament, man.
Yeah,
and I'm like telling him,
right,
I'm like, Chris, there's a cooler in back. You're gonna fill it about this far with this, and you're gonna do. And then came back, and I was like, did good.
They listen. That's the there you go. That's like a
so
good
much
microcosm
fun, it
of the
was
event,
just a goofy, like, fun party, and then in between, everyone's like, "Do you want to play a game?" And you're like, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" So it was a blast.
Heck yeah! Can't wait till the next one.
I know. Why is this not like a quarterly thing?
Yeah.
I don't.
It is a shit ton of work.
A lot of work. Yeah.
That's why.
So next one's in March. No.
Yeah. Right.
Oh my gosh.
I would put it on all the time.
Work.
If it didn't, so it didn't bankrupt me. I'll say that. I would say we might have broke even, slightly lost, probably. We might have broke even.
I feel like for your first one though, that's
and it was
good.
free. And it was free.
Yeah.
That's all on the heels of donations. So it was.
And now that you know, the fact that you can be like $5 for or $10 or whatever, because that's nothing if someone wants to, enjoy the whole weekend doing that. But it's enough where you're like, I'm not like spending all my time and money just trying to put on this
just
one
hoping
thing.
Hoping against hope that people show up and have fun. Yeah, I feel like now we're maybe it's legitimized where people will spend a little bit of money.
I'll spend the money.
Yeah, so that's so cool. So that's our number one fused together, right?
I heard next year there might be like kittens or something. So
goodness gracious.
Ryan and I were just brainstorming. We're just brainstorming things. That's all. You never know. You never know.
All
right, last but not least, what is your number one?
Okay, my number one is kind of like Ryan was saying, when you don't want to effing do anything, but you want to play a video game or watch a TV show or whatever. Our video game that we've been playing is Ember Knights.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear about this.
And so we have been
roguelike.
Yes. So we
this one you do get stronger.
This is roguelite.
Roguelite, you do get stronger.
Right.
So it's a dungeon crawler. Yeah, you do get stronger. So it is the same, like you play start till whenever you F and die, start over kind of thing, but you get stronger. You can like add on to things. You can build your skills throughout it. This game has been, it hasn't been super hard, but it's been hard. But it's been so much fun, and it's so easy to be like, I don't want to set up a game tonight. Let's just like turn on a video game and just play.
Right.
And so I don't know, how long have we even been playing this? Do you know, Ben? You probably have the...
what is our total hours?
Yeah, what's our hours?
17.4 hours on record.
Whoa.
Okay.
And then we actually, the other night, were like, I think this is it. This is the end boss. And it was like, hey, thanks for doing the first
the early
chunk
access.
Before,
I completely forgot that it's early access.
Are you kidding
me?
No. But the game is super fun. And you can like pick your different weapons and like, there's little secrets throughout it and all that stuff. But I thought it was funny when I looked it up. It has a 10 out of 10 on Steam, 5 out of 5 on Facebook. And like 4 out of 5 on, there's something else that it has, like some geek website, but like it has great ratings. Like,
is it only on Steam?
I don't know. Actually. Well, it must be because it's early access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So nobody else supports like early access stuff. I'm assuming 1.0 would come to Switch or whatever.
Called Ember Knights.
Ember Knights. What I like about it is it takes the rogue like. like a Hades or a Rogue Legacy or a Hollow Knight or whatever, or Ori's kind of Metroidvania. But it makes it multiplayer and it supports it really well. It makes it feel like you could play through this by yourself, but you don't really want to. You kind of like, and But what's really fun about it is that your character, you pick a weapon, but your build is very generic. It's very Hades in that way. In that throughout the course of the game, you get upgrades. There are both skills, which are like new abilities that you have, and then there are relics, I think they're called, which are essentially just like upgrades. So like you can get a thing that's like every third attack causes a lightning bolt. And then you can get another thing that's like every time you do a lightning bolt, there's a 25% chance you bring a lightning storm.
Oh, that does sound like Hades.
You can get stuff that's like every time you hit a lightning damaged enemy, you crit. And then you can get something that's like every time you crit, you heal. And then you can get something that's like every time you heal,
so you can, like, get
your
the
crit chance goes up.
Wait,
and
so
then
you can stack all these?
Yeah, they all stack over the course. And so all of a sudden you're like, in the beginning you started with you just swing a sword. And by the end, you're like doing lightning bolts that fill the whole screen. And every time you do that, it heals you. And you're just like an unstoppable machine. But the difficulty of the levels are appropriate to you getting that powerful. You know what I mean? And so like
scales with you.
We've done all kinds of stuff where like my build just supports me and I'm great and Emily's build is like her thing. But we've also done stuff where like I do a bunch of stuff that triggers off of freeze, but I don't actually trigger freeze. Emily triggers freeze. And so I need to be by her the whole time to be hitting the enemies she's hitting. Otherwise, if I get away from her, all of a sudden I can't do anything anymore. And like I just love this game so. I wish I was in early access. Like when we finally beat World 4 and we're like, all right, what's next? Here we go. And it was like, thanks for trying out the early access. And I was like, God damn, my build was so good.
Like,
2025.
This was the perfect build. Like, you cannot stop us here. And it just went back to the main.
No, it's the perfect kind of multiplayer. I love those kind of games, and I've never been able to share it with anybody.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they have hit this great balance of like. It just works. It just works with somebody else. And you can't like res somebody when they die. The only way to revive them is to beat a boss. If you beat a boss, they come back.
Which I was gonna say that is so hard though, because if you were to die early, you're like, well, we still have like 10 minutes before a boss. Like, there's no way,
But we've both had the epic, like the other person dies in the middle of a boss fight, and it's like, okay, you gotta win this boss fight.
Gotta beat it.
Just you.
Oh my gosh, which is so like.
God, that sounds so fun. I would love to. If it wasn't only on Steam, I could probably talk Natalie into playing it. But getting her to just crowd in by my computer is too tough.
Yeah.
So if it comes out on the Switch, then we'll be able to get it.
But
or
it's,
even PS5.
It's really fun.
Just get all HDMI cord and just run it.
Just run it to the TV. Yeah, we can.
That's what I do. I have the HDMI cord. You can see it. You see that white thing back there?
Yeah. Because you running it up through
that's the HDMI. Yeah.
We still just play on the
maybe
computer,
we'll do that.
though. Because when we play on the TV, I'm still like, I need to be as close as a computer to like legit see anything.
Yeah.
So then I'm always just like, now I'm just as close. We might.
So you play at the computer anyway?
Yeah, we still just play at the computer.
It's
at least
just
for
so
this
much
one.
easier.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm blind on the TV.
Well, you guys have a nice space there that you can crowd around. My computer's in like the little alcove back there, and so getting two chairs in there is not really easy.
Ryan, your computer doesn't work anyway, so don't.
It doesn't. It's busted no matter what, so it can't do it. Fuck.
Don't you got a dock for that Steam
Damn it,
Deck?
I can't do
Steam
it.
Deck?
No. Do they make one?
I think so.
A Steam Dick Dock?
I think they make a Dick Dock.
A Dick Dock? They make a Dick Dock? I'm going to look up a Dick Dock.
TikTok, but Dick Dock.
Yeah, but Dick Dock.
Right,
for penises.
A dock for the dick.
Yeah. It's just a vagina. I think a Dick Dock is just a vagina.
Steam batch.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, but it's fun. It's great. And for a long time we're like, boy, we fucking suck at this. And so the fact that we've like built up and been like, tonight's the night, and then just trying again and again is
you were just cock blocked. That's sucks.
you know.
Yeah, we're gonna do.
Good choice. Good number one. All right.
Number one.
That is an excellent top three. And I have to say thank you again, Ryan, for jumping in and filling the spot last minute. Do we have? This has been a long show. Do we have time for
We
some
do.
Would You Rather's?
We do.
Okay. All right.
I think there's always time for Would You Rather.
There's always time.
All
There's
right.
always
Let's turn
time.
on the music. Here we go.
Ryan can't
Ryan can't hear
I
the
can't hear it,
for
but
some
should I
reason.
dance? I'll dance anyway.
Yeah, dance.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume it's like a bum 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 ba bum ba dum.
All right. I got a question
not,
for you guys.
but-
I have a critical question for you.
What is it? What's yours?
I don't know. I can't find my Would You
Oh
Rather
my gosh.
list.
Ooh, this
I
one's
know
getting
Ryan
difficult.
has some.
All right. Would you rather?
Yeah.
Where is it? My list. It's getting slim pickings here. Would you rather be beautiful and stupid or ugly and smart?
Ugly and smart.
I'm already beautiful and stupid, so this is all I
Just
know.
keep living that life.
I'm just gonna keep living this dream.
Beautiful
You're
and
alright,
stupid.
beautiful.
I'm already.
I feel like as a man, being beautiful doesn't get you as far as being a woman who's beautiful.
Yeah, I
Like a
agree.
stupid
guess,
guy is
but-
just annoying.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
I
right.
mean,
he is.
but
Well,
it's
I guess
just
it depends on
stupid.
what you mean
It
by
doesn't
stupid.
say like just to be funny. That's number one.
I don't think I would like it if I looked at myself. I mean, I already think I'm ugly, but I don't think I would like it if I was like,
Yeah, I'm not saying I
there's
would
no
enjoy
talking
that.
myself into being attractive.
Well, the other thing is though, like, am I like dumb, naive? You know,
Right.
where you're just
That's what
like,
I wanna
"Ah,
know.
I
What
don't
kind of
even
dumb-
notice.
Like ignorant.
Yeah, or
If
am
I'm
I
ignorant,
like,
God, that's great. God, I wish
because
I
I
could be
mean,
ignorant.
that'd
Right,
be
you're
great.
just ignorant and happy.
Yeah, that's all I want in my life.
You're beautiful, ignorant, and happy.
Yeah, that
God,
would be
what's
great.
better? What's better?
Why do you
want to
be ugly and smart? You're just miserable and you know it. Like,
Yeah.
so what?
Exactly.
That is-
Right. Now you're unhappy. Exactly. And you
I feel like
and
now
you're,
it's
You're
just
unhappy.
because
You
you're ugly.
realize you're ugly.
Yeah,
You would be
Yep.
beautiful. You have no idea the privileges that have
shit
been brought
just
to you.
falls into
You're
your
ignorant
lap.
of all of it, and you're having a wonderful time. You don't
God,
know
that's
any
an
better.
easy. What an
even
easy
though
question.
even though I know I know that would be annoying for everyone else. Boy, that'd be an easy life.
So Emily
would-
just wants to
Yeah.
stick to her normal life and be beautiful and smart.
Stupid and ugly.
Wait.
Right.
No.
Wait a second. Yeah, this is backwards.
Oh
on,
man,
this isn't
stupid
quite
and ugly.
working.
Oh,
Stupid
geez.
and
No.
ugly.
There was
Oh
sounded like
man, that's Ryan.
You know
So-
it, but you
Fuck you, fucker. So this is
you son of a bitch.
if I can take the next one, this is I want to do one that Scarlett would always
Yeah,
do.
do
So-
a Scarlet one.
All right, this is kind of bullshit, but we would do Would You Rather's like in the car on the way to school,
Okay.
and it would like pass the time so the kids don't fight in the car. And so the kids would always come up with decent ones, like would you rather have an elephant nose, your nose is
Yeah.
an elephant trunk, or you have feathers.
Okay.
All right, or you
Would
don't
you
have arms,
rather-
you have feathers.
Would you rather have an elephant trunk on your nose or an elephant trunk?
Oh, God.
Well, like as your middle finger? Is that what you were gonna say?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, okay, so but Scarlett then she would dead serious would say stuff like this: would you rather have your arm cut off by a sword or chocolate chip cookies whenever you want?
Oh my God.
And she could not get away from that. It was
You're
the
like,
same thing.
this is
one
a no-brainer,
horrible,
Scarlett.
and one is like ice cream. Every
Would you rather
time.
be beheaded at the school
Yeah.
or have ice cream?
Would
like
you rather
that
look
kinda,
like Sloth from the Goonies or have pizza?
and you're like,
Okay.
Pizza?
well, I'm
so
gonna
then-
take chocolate chip cookies on the last one. That's for
Then,
sure.
yeah,
so.
totally. Then she got on this thing where every would you rather for her was eating something. So she'd be like,
Okay.
would you rather eat a rock or a wall? and that's like,
I think I'd
Okay.
rather.
I love a
How big is the
wall.
rock?
what's the wall made of?
Yeah.
Is it a pebble?
drywall? It's like
I
a
can-
drywall. I
Is
gotta,
it
like,
drywall or is it like cinder block?
Right, is it
Because
like
then I'm just
block?
eating rock again.
I'm eating rock again. I'll take the chocolate chip cookies.
I'll take the chocolate chip.
But I don't know if you guys have done this one or not, but here's my real
Okay.
one. My real one is would you rather talk like Yoda
Oh,
or breathe like Darth Vader?
I feel like we might have done this one.
Did
but
you
I
do
don't
this one?
remember.
No,
I don't
we
remember.
didn't. We didn't.
It's either constantly
I'm gonna say
Or everything
I'm gonna
is
say
like-
Darth Vader, because Darth Vader is like, yeah, it's annoying, but like people get used to it. Yoda is shut the fuck up.
right. Elephant
Because
trunk
people-
on your penis you have.
And yeah, and you'd be like, you need to leave. Like, it would be so fucking annoying.
Good that feels.
Oh my god.
Good I am.
I cannot. Nope. It's gonna have to be Darth Vader. I ain't go with you. Breathe heavy. That's it.
So instead, you're just like,
Yeah.
But that's once again, it's like, yeah, he has a machine that helps him breathe. Okay, like that's his thing. I can deal with that. But someone's like attitude of talking, no. You'd
Rub
be like,
it, you
shut the
will.
fuck. Oh my gosh.
I think what speaks for itself is the fact that I'm willing to impersonate the Darth Vader breath and don't want to try to
You don't
come up
wanna
with
try Yoda?
I don't want to try Yoda. I think I'd rather be Darth Vader. In
Darth
that
All the
case,
Yodas
clearly.
I do are just all sexually related.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all
Only
he
talk
says.
like Yoda and only talk about sex.
Oh
Only
my
sex.
God. Wait,
Shave
well,
my pubes, you will. I can't do it.
You can't. What is wrong?
okay, mine kind of relates. Mine
Okay.
is, would you want to never enjoy food again or enjoy sex again?
Food.
So let's say like
Sex is
whatever
so
you
awesome.
eat, whatever you let's say whatever you eat has like zero taste, zero anything, whatever for you.
Yeah, okay.
Or sex is zero, zero feeling, zero nothing. Like, we'll just say one of them is like nothing.
All right. Hold on.
I'd rather never taste food. I know that's terrible. That sounds crazy.
Like food can
Sex
be
is
very.
so
You could
fucking
get to a
great.
place. You could get to a
Get
place
Natalie down here.
where
No, I'm
food
kidding.
is
so much.
food is fuel, right?
Yeah, right,
I
exactly.
Eat, each time
Well,
I
like
eat,
you can still
like
eat
you're like
food.
Soylent, right?
You can still
Yes,
eat food. You
but-
just wouldn't taste it. Doesn't taste good. You don't have a crate. Like,
What Ben is saying is like
None of that.
everything I've ever wanted. Food tastes so good, I eat too much of it, and now I'm a fat man. If I didn't have to worry about how good food tasted, it would be just fuel, and I could just fuck all the time and feel great.
it doesn't mean
And
you
then I
can
would
have
look
sex
great,
more,
too.
Ryan.
Well,
It's
it
not
does
like
because
everyone.
I always,
It
every time I'm
does.
eating a pizza, I'm like, think of all the sex I could be having, but I'm eating
Right,
this.
instead of eating this
That's what's
pizza.
slowing you down.
God, just put the
You
pizza
make it
down.
sound
Eat-
like
eat
every
something
time.
else.
Anytime I'm
someone
doing
is like,
anything,
well,
I'm
sex or
thinking,
pizza
well, I could
tonight.
be.
Why aren't I having sex right now?
Right,
God, I
instead
just
of
be having
this.
sex.
If I was just
Having sex, I'm having. Yeah, God, that's all I want.
Not only does Ryan have
you
the
set
Yoda
him up
voice,
for this.
he
You
is
planned this,
also-
Emily.
He has the Yoda voice and he only enjoys.
I don't have to not do the Yoda voice. I'm just choosing.
He just chooses to. Now that he doesn't have to taste food, he can
Exactly.
freely use the Yoda voice.
Really?
couple more pups I need.
It has enabled him to freely use the Yoda voice. You didn't answer this question, Emily.
I'm gonna take food, bitches.
I'm nobody's surprised
You
by
want
that.
Food? Yeah. God.
Food.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
we all saw that coming.
But doesn't sex just feel so awesome?
Yeah, but if someone
Sex
said
is
no
so
food,
awesome.
are you fucking kidding me? No food? You know what I mean? Like different choice, like food
I know.
every day, multiple meals. Do you know? Food.
In
No,
reality,
I'm taking food. I'm sorry, food.
I know what you mean. In all reality, I would pick the same thing over and over again
I
without
was gonna say
fucking
you pick
question.
sex again. In all
ever-
reality,
being-
I'm
being
gonna
serious.
go back to the
So
beginning,
fun.
bitches. Yeah.
Orgasms are the best.
Guys, it's just food.
God, I love
Just-
having
I don't think
Food?
about
No.
food all day long.
No, exactly.
I do.
Exactly.
I do.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay.
Easiest question. of
Ben,
all
you
time.
never said.
And I never will. On that note, we will end this episode of the Day Night
No.
Thrice podcast.
You also did Ben ever? Did you do your Would You Rather?
I would like to thank Ryan from the
first one.
Gamecasters one more time for joining our
Thank you
show.
for having me.
I highly recommend go checking out the Gamecasters podcast. You will enjoy it as much as I do. I'm absolutely
do-
certain of that.
The whole next episode in the Yoda
In the Yoda voice. Only
Enjoy my
talking about sex.
podcast, you will. Poop knife you have.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
That's a little,
Right.
little preview there.
If
Yeah,
you listen to
right.
this podcast on audio and want to see a video version, you can always go check out the Date Night Dice YouTube channel where you can find this and our Date Night Dice D-list movie reviews. I had a brain fart there for a second, where we review bad movies. You can also catch us live on YouTube and Twitch on the first Thursday of every month, where we review terrible movies and watch them so you don't have to. And on that note, until next time, we are Date Night Thrice, and we will see you later.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Food. Food.
Sex.
Food.
Sex. It's all about sex. I just want to have sex. Woo.